And we are live and ready to go here for some Ember Cinder League action in week 2 for the matchup between IBSG and RivalsDX. Welcome in, everyone. I'm Isaac. Joining me tonight on the cast will be Flash of Night for this one. How you doing, Flash?
I'm doing great. I'm ready to see these teams go at it. This is their second week, so a lot of the times they're going to be getting out some jitter still, trying to figure out how does their team really play and trying to find their style of league.
Yeah, especially as these two teams didn't have their full lineups last week, and it really showed, especially in the case of IBSG, where they were missing both Timu One Zeus and Dory K. Definitely didn't help them out at all in their matchup against Excessive Cosmic. But in the case of RivalsDX, well, struggled without their full lineup as well. Looking to hopefully rectify that coming here into week 2 as we get into draft. Graphics look maybe a little bit odd, but we're going through nonetheless. Ash, Misfortune, Ari, Smolder, Shin, and Kindred all taken off the board.
I really do like this Kindred ban. I mean, for those who are familiar with IBSG's roster, they do have their jungler who has some Kindred and Pantheon games, so I'm wondering if they're going to take that on B2, B3, but taking again a lot of these really strong 80 carries around, and again, Orianna pick. I talked about it before production, but that's one of the mid laners that Rivals plays.
Yeah, they're going to be able to pick that one up for themselves early on, and picking up as well the Nocturne with the classic Knockwave combo that we saw a lot of in the LCS over this past week. It's a great effect, really worked for the teams that did play them, but on the side of CB, they're going to immediately respond what looks like to be the Cinder. They don't have a lot of time left. Going to be coming in, and it is, in fact, one of the champions that CB Typhoon does play quite a bit. So once again, starting out both these teams, going for comfort and something that really just is typically what we look a lot for here in like the IBSG range, is just getting yourself on champions that you know and are familiar with.
Yeah, I agree. I think thing to keep in mind for players at home and viewers is that Syndra versus Orianna is really dependent on Orianna getting pressure early and how she plays the first 5 minutes of the game. Can she force out a potential TP in base so that she comes to lane at level 6 and can really chunk out Syndra? And if that doesn't happen, Syndra just continually scales away and just becomes so much harder to trade with and just can hit you from range. And it kind of just becomes this mute lane where no one can really hit each other without like really risking a lot of DPS, especially on Orianna. She can get killed relatively quickly.
Bit of an interesting choice now looking at it with the Nautilus locked into the Braum. Typically one that's not exactly all that great of a matchup. Can add some extra utility with the ball delivery on the Nautilus, but early on it definitely seems like a bit of an odd choice on the side of RivalsDX.
Yeah, I mean, they're gonna take the Nocturne here, and like the Sivir is a great counter pick. It takes a lot of abilities away. Nocturne can't hit that fear off, and Syndra's a bubble will get consumed. And also, even the Nautilus now, Nautilus hook goes in, Sivir, easy spell shield for them. And the top laner getting taken away from Rumble doesn't really squinch the potential top laners for CB too much. There's a lot of 80 and tank top laners that are still open because they got Syndra. She's a really big AP threat.
And coming on through, the Udyr also going to be taken away. It's not one that I really saw on the scattering report of either of these two teams. So RivalsDX taking away 2 different champions that kind of seem a little bit unorthodox, especially the Udyr, because even though I don't really think Timu One Zeus plays a bunch of the Rumble, it's still one that has been in the meta for quite some time. But yeah, the Udyr definitely kind of throwing a bit of a curveball in the bands there.
Yeah, I think the thing to look at with that Scion and Malphite ban is Rivals is very aware of Might Be's top laners having a play style of particularly tank champions, and looking to take that away, they really are going to probably give their top laner that 5th counter pick on R5 and hope for them to do something.
Yeah, it is the typical way, or maybe not typical these days, but a more of a classic way to go. Top lane obviously uses that counter pick to some pretty large effect, especially if you get some of those really hard counters that can make the life of your opponent basically impossible. And if you take away a lot of these picks that I guess, don't really mind getting put behind all too much, especially with the likes of the Scion, when he's looking to be able to pick that up for themselves. Maokai, though, going to be locking for might be CB.
Is that going to be
No
a
choice.
jungle?
I mean, obviously, we'll see after this pick where it's going. It is flexible, but not exactly one. But as Renekton's hovered, and it is in fact the Maokai jungle for SG Sen.
Yeah, and with that Renekton coming through, it is a very safe blind pick, right? Renekton is just really comfortable with dealing into a lot of matchups. He's known for his ability to get out of laning phase with even being even into counter picks or potentially turning it around if the player has the skill, right, into leads. The question about a good Renekton player, though, is can come that mid to late game, can they play team fights well? Can they find flank
Urgot.
angles? And
Okay.
Urgot, ooh, Rivals just feels with like a scaling comp.
Yeah, I mean, with the Jinx, the Orianna as well has some pretty good scaling there. Urgot, though, going to be looking to apply some pressure with the ranged V melee matchup, looking to dominate that lane on the side of Rivals DX, which kind of makes me believe it might not be Mossman in for Rivals DX this week, because it's not really a champion that they play, or at least not recently. So obviously, let's wait and see until we get into game of whether that is the case or not. But I mean, with Urgot into the Renekton matchup, I mean, we're caught after talking about action up at the top lane. I think that's where our eyes probably going to go, especially pre-level 6, because I don't think Nocturne is going to be waiting until that full Knockwave combo comes online.
Yeah, something I want to highlight here is particularly the bot lane matchup with Sivir and Maokai versus the Jinx Nautilus. Maokai just has really good disengage and also peel potential for the Sivir on Nautilus chases, right? Like the ability to either dodge auto attacks or cancel auto attacks with his root. The push away too just provides a lot of space. Sivir having their own spell shield too. All of this makes Sivir and Maokai a really safe lane for might BCB, and it's gonna force Nautilus, in my opinion, if he wants to get his team leads elsewhere, is to go around the map. I mean, if you just sit bot lane and try to 2v2 it out until 10 minutes into the game, you're gonna see Sivir just crash waves. Sivir is really good at doing this into Jinx, especially early on, and they're just gonna crash waves and take dragons. And sorry, I mean, it's Braum Sivir.
Yes, bro.
Same principle.
I was thinking that I was going to wait.
I was like,
going to wait until you were done.
I was like,
I
wait,
was
you're
going to wait
so
until
right.
you finished talking, and but then you caught it yourself. And I was like,
got it
I'm pretty
myself.
Sure
My bad. But
Braum
even if Braum's still
support.
the same philosophy
Yeah.
of flies is actually better 2v2 for
Yeah,
Sivir
for sure.
than within the Maokai. And again, same philosophy. Sets up for drags. Sivir really strong at just pushing waves in and being safe. Jinx really can't do anything until she gets some damage on those rockets and can really clear waves. So it's going to be up to the supports here. Can they make their 80 carries gameplay change in any way? Can Nautilus be threatening enough to allow Jinx to get push and secure drags and bases? And if not, Sivir's just going to have complete freedom to do really what they need for their team and get potential leads.
Speaking of keeping the ADCs safe and talk about these two compositions, I think there's a lot of peel for the side of Might BCB between the Maokai, I mean, even Cinder with the Scout of the Week can create space for Sivir. And especially with how Rivals DX wants to do, I mean, with the Nocturne, with the Nautilus, they absolutely want to be going in to be able to hit key targets, but I think my concern is for the Rivals DX comp as the game goes on is, I mean, unless if Razors for Life and iGank get so far ahead where they could, push through the peel that Might BCB has, I'm not entirely sure how they managed to kill Typhoon or Dory K.
Yeah, you do bring that up, and I think that's a really good point. My counter to that for Rivals here is Rivals as a team composition with this Syndra Nocturne delivery system have such strong 2v2 and kill pick potential in the side lanes that makes it so hard for Syndra, more so than Renekton, to just be alone in that side lane. And that's going to be something that might be CP need to consider. There's going to be some potential dives onto her, and the way that Rivals plays those are going to allow them to generate leads. If Nocturne or Orianna get far enough ahead, them themselves as champions can just kind of blow people up, chunk people out by so much that their team doesn't really need to be even in gold. They can kind of just follow up on that, especially with lack of vision, fog of war, etc.
We'll just have to wait and see how that pans out here in game one between Might BCB and RivalsDX. But we do have a spectator leg coming up. We'll be bringing you game one after this short delay, though, so don't go anywhere. underway for game 1 between Might Be CB and RivalsDX here in week 2 of Ember Cinder League. And we've got Raven back again behind the scenes with our fancy camera angles, getting us these nice shots of the champions getting ready to go here for us in game 1 flash.
Yeah, I mean, we're already onto the Rift, and we're going to see a pretty traditional 5-man spread from both teams here. Early wards and the early minion spawns have forced a lot of earlier fights, and looks like they're going to do some trading. Dory getting chunked here, not enough time to really base, and that's what these new changes. Normally, he'd just be able to go back, but now he's going to lose about 150 HP going into lane, and the question is, will Sauce get the hook?
Definitely a possibility. Sauce and Husky have used that extra time Dory's used to step up. No vision.
They know about it though, but this is Braum level 1 power. Oh, they don't get the passive proc because they don't drop the ward in time.
Or at all, actually. We will finally drop it now into the middle brush there in the bottom lane. So probably could have
already
gotten
some
a bigger
pretty aggressive trades
back
coming out from Razor for Life. This is a good job from Razor. A lot of people don't realize is the cooldown on the Ori so early allows them to get prio, and it just took too much damage from minions there, and that's going to cost him that level 2 spike and just a lot of HP, already popping both his potions from both mid laners. And Braum getting hooked down. He's already
the Dredge Line land, gets IZK really low, slowed by the zap, will flash away. It really didn't look like Husky was threatening the kill there, but will drop down the flash anyway. But a really good early pressure from RDX's bot lane here early on.
I actually really like that flash from Braum, because if he didn't flash and Jinx chose to flash auto attack with the rockets, it was going to be a kill. And you just don't know if Jinx is going to flash in the way that those windups happen. It can be really hard to react in time, especially if you're already in range.
And is low, no flash available. Does use sell potions to get some semblance of health back.
Some good
to get back up. This is exactly what RDX's bot lane needed early on to at least negate any of the advantages that we expected Might Be CB had coming into this matchup.
Oh, he goes through with the good stun.
Yeah, I don't know if it'll really amount to much. Meshi, I mean, he lands the stun, but it could have gone a little bit too far. It has to flash away.
Gets the hook.
Man. We go in. Dredge Line lands. IZK taking very low. Doesn't have flash anymore. One more auto attack is all it needs, except it's the zap. Husky lands it. First blood goes the way of the Jinx in the bot lane for RDX. And we don't have time to play just yet because iGank is in fact doing that. Typhoon, the target, will do his best to get the solo kill. Does manage to find it. Is able to trade 1 for 1 in what was looking like a guaranteed death.
Oh my gosh, you just hate to see it. They are able to come for that round the gank, taking advantage of the fact that there's no TP from Syndra, and they look like they have a secured kill, and Orianna just doesn't respect the Syndra damage. And I don't think she really thought she was in kill threat. She had flash up. I think she just really underestimated, or overestimated really, how much damage that Syndra was able to do, and Syndra just has no other choice but to commit onto Orianna.
And it works out in the end for CB Typhoon. It's still down a little bit in the CS department early on here. As you mentioned, doesn't have access to the teleport. Instead, went for the exhaust, which I suppose could provide a lot of value, considering you have the likes of the Nocturne jumping in on you as the game goes on. But it is still relatively unorthodox, at least these days.
It did allow the Syndra to turn the kill there. I don't know if viewers noticed, but the Syndra was able to exhaust the Nocturne, keeping herself alive just long enough to get that additional Q auto attack combo off and secure a kill. And we're kind of seeing some pretty small CS leads develop. I think the most important one, though, is the itemization coming out from the Nocturne. getting a Tiamat on this first base is huge for his clearing speed and tempo for this game, and it really allows him to just try to farm for level 6. And he's gonna get there by the time he finishes full clearing on the next camp respawn around the 6-minute mark.
Paranoia, obviously a very big power spike for the Nocturne, but Urameshi also hitting the level 6 before Tomb Eagle picks it up, going to get the flash out of the Urgot. Dredgeline lands way onto IZK, try to get away, but the fear lands, and so there's nowhere else to go. Typhoon does drop down, trying to find the kill onto Husky. Gank finally gets the kill onto IZK. Typhoon able to trade one back, going to flash away from Sauce. It's a bit separated, the auto attack does drop. Sauce gets a kill onto CB Typhoon. Dory trying to collapse onto Husky. The Twisted Advance finds the Jinx, and Dory K able to pick up another kill for himself. So a fight that goes all over the place, but in the end is relatively even.
Yeah, I mean, we saw the Maokai. He comes in. He's able to help his team secure that kill, and if he's not there, Jinx is out free. Orianna used the ball, gave the shield, gave the movement speed, but him with the root, the displacement, secures Sivir, that kill, which is really important for her tempo. She's got this Cole itemization and helps kind of stabilize her lane from being down by nearly 500 gold to being just about even. After this completion of Cole.
Especially important as Husky did come back with a BF sword on their first recall. It was a huge advantage for that short period of time when they did have it, but being able to pick up that kill means that Dory K going to move back with a BF sword of their own. He'll be feeling quite all right and has leveled the playing field, and at least in terms of gold, but considering what it might be CB has for them in that bottom lane with the spell shield on the Sivir, with the Unbreakable in the 2v2, it's definitely varied definitely very CB favored. Jeez.
Yeah, and we're seeing the top lane kind of figure out the trading patterns here coming out from Eagle and Yushi. It's just like they've realized that Renekton can start the fight on his own terms, and it's up to Urgot to reactively use his E when that W is dropped, that stun. And if he doesn't choose to do that, he can go back in, but Urgot's got the dodge, right? His E second cast is so long that he's going to be able to get away. Will they fight with the level 6 power spikes from mid lane over this? They do have a numbers advantage with Sivir. Caught away, and they're going to go in.
The Knockwave finds its way down onto the Cinder. Sauce gets the first kill. Looking to press forward. Husky has gotten excited, is auto-attacking away. Dory will go on the hunt, but it's more of an attempt to retreat. IZK snared up, raises for life, picks up 2 for RDX, and Sauce gets a third. His Dredgeline going to secure the kill after the Super Mega Death Rocket of Husky, but 3-0 going the way of RDX with a Drake on top of it.
Yeah, they're looking really strong, right? They're nearly 2,000 gold. Right now, their best lanes are their solo lanes, and in the top lane...
going to pop the Dominus. Tomb Eagle in trouble. Very low flash forward from Urameshi. Will find the solo bolo onto the Urgot. Urameshi doing really good in this top lane.
Yeah, and that's just him having that flash up from earlier that he went out, took some good trades, and now that Urgot has lost his flash, he wasn't able to flash away. And that's just the displacement of those flash timers along with the level up that's accrued from this gold lead. Even though Urgot has built those steel-plated caps to reduce the damage, it's just not enough right now. And Urameshi is doing a really fabulous job on this Renekton, even though that he got counterpicked into.
Yep, up 655 gold. IZK in trouble once again. Dredgeline lands, going to have to jump over using the flash on top of the Flame Chompers, but raises for life. Going to collapse down. IZK is nowhere to go. He's been having a rough one so far. 0-4-1 on the Braum.
Yeah, this is really tough to be in. Your team needs vision, right? And it's just kind of dangerous to go in now. It's not exactly his... Oh!
July taken very low with unleashed power. Not quite going to find the kill onto Orianna just yet. The Jinx very low. Luckily, the Paranoia does drop. Exhaust drops onto iGank. Razor for Life going to go forward. Razor for Life once again tries to help things out. But the flash forward, as you mentioned, from CB Typhoon to be able to once again get a kill in a very dire situation.
Yeah, and Oriana doesn't trust, or really maybe wants to get that assist gold. Oh, top?
Tomb in trouble. Ganks coming through. Nature's Grasp not quite going to hit the mark, too far away from the Twisted Advance as well. Looking troublesome for Tomb Eagle, but he's enough distance to be able to get out of that one.
And poor
Actually, though, going to go in once again. Jeez, yeah, Tomb Eagle not having a good time here in the top lane.
Yeah, I want to highlight where the gold lead is on RDX, particularly that Nautilus, which doesn't mean really much. As engaged supports, trading in the mid lane. I don't think they have kill pressure here. He's gonna be able to cancel that recall. Does not Nocturne. Are you gonna stay to protect your top laner?
No, he doesn't. He completes the recall. I don't think he has Paranoia just yet, so it would have been a bit difficult to join. The target is now going SG Sin, taking very low. Will use a Twisted Advance to drop the tower aggro. Very patient with the use of that W ability. Razor for Life flashing over, doesn't get the kill onto SG Sin. The ball doesn't quite reach far enough to be able to find the damage. So no teleport, no flash on the Oriana, but now we go to the mid lane. iGank once again in the mid lane, ganking the Syndra. CB Typhoon does land the Scatter of the Week. Will use Unleash Power, gets iGank to half HP, but that's all it will do. iGank once again picking up a kill onto the Syndra. This time a solo kill for the Nocturne.
Yeah, I mean, that looked really good from the sides of RDX. They TP top. They're going to come and clutch this up. Syndra is in the mid lane getting solo, ulted by Nocturne. They're able to get the kill there. Unfortunately, Maokai gets away with just a sliver of HP. And I think it's a small thing that Oriana did that allowed the Maokai to give away, which was casting the ability, then flashing. She had the right idea.
Eagle going to use Superiority on Death onto Uramesh. He is slowly trudging away. Two levels down. He finds a solo kill onto Uramesh.
Where's the respect?
All right. I have no idea. And also, that's the last thing I expected. Being 2 levels down to be able to find a solo kill in the 1v1 is very impressive stuff from Tomb Eagle. No respect shown from Uramesh on the amount of slow whittled chunk damage that this Urgot can do if you stay within range of him.
Yeah, we're seeing another
once again in trouble, but Sin is here. Will use a Twisted Advance and knock iGank back towards CB Typhoon. Won't quite be able to collapse down onto the Cinder just yet. Razors for Life, bit too far away to follow up on.
Yeah, and we're actually seeing the first completions of these role quest items come through. Right now, looking on that jungle, this is a 5 camp difference. And top laners are here.
To the Maokai, iGank getting very low. Uramesh has arrived, can't quite burst down iGank. Tomb Eagle has to get out, won't be able to. Shockwave not doing all too much. Razors for Life now the target of might be CB, and they have certainly picked up the kill onto Razors for Life. Getting that kill, going to push in the mid wave and move straight to the Drake to be able to pick that one up.
And they pick up a much needed plates in the bot lane, though. RDX does not let their team's play go to waste. They're there getting plates, trying to fight for this first tower, but in doing so, they underestimate the wave clear of Sivir as they push through, take that first tower through mid, and they're TPing bot already.
Yeah, and that will keep that bot lane tower alive, as well as it's seeded over the mid lane tier 1 to the side of might be CB as well, giving themselves a gold lead, what seems to be probably the first time this entire game they've managed to be able to pick that up for themselves. As we've gone into these more organized fight, might be CB has definitely, at least in the last encounter, looked a bit more organized.
Yeah, I really do like the team play that I'm seeing from MC. MBCB. God, it's a tongue twister. And they're just really able to understand what their team is good at, which is this backwards kind of peel. If your opponents continue the chase, eventually they either have to walk back, and that's your moment to get off spells, or they walk into chokes, and that's your moment to get off spells. And they've been doing a really good job at that. They're not behind by an unplayable amount of gold. They only are losing in their jungle and support role. And support, again, like I've said, it is important, but it really is not the difference maker that other roles like AD carry and even solo lanes have.
Speaking of 80 carries, Dory K has moved up to the top lane to be, or the top side of the map, more correctly, to be able to pick up this Rift Herald, opting to leave Urameshi here in the 2v1, but how many levels he has on that Renekton means he's able to survive this one pretty comfortably. They will cede the bot lane tier 1 tower in the process.
Yeah, I think...
Actually, they'll look for a bit more. iGank is here. Urameshi is the target. Will pop the Dominus immediately to give himself the bonus health, but there's not a lot of places to go. Dredgeline lands. Husky lands a kill with the Super Mega Death Rockets.
Great play from RDX, just like the CC after another, just not getting a lot of counterplay. He didn't have flash. They knew who to target. And even though this is all happening, RDX find a great pick off their tower completion bot side. Really good timers used there. Top side, the Herald is used. They take a tower. They know that they're safe to do that. And even though Urgot wants to protect his tower, just can't do so. Oh, the flash
away, brings Sin under the tower, takes 2 towers, 3 now. It is just one of those things that you got to be mindful of when you are playing the Maokai with the Twisted Advance. You follow your opponents wherever you go. Dory will pop on the hunt to be able to escape iGank and Tomb Eagle. Those have Razors for Life close in tow, but that extra move speed that they got from the Sivir ult will get them out.
Yeah, right now we're seeing an item advantage in the mid lane. That Shadow Heart, or gosh, I can't. Shadow Flame. My mistake.
Someone's been playing too much Baldur's Gate, I see.
I know, right? Great game, by the way, if you haven't played it.
Yeah, it's
great game.
Fair, but
great plug,
before we get into that, Urameshi will go in, does have Dory and Sin nearby. Razor for Life, going to have to flash over the wall. Isaac will tag Razors with the slow. Husky has a drive. Shockwave finds its way onto 3, but doesn't exactly do a lot of damage. Paranoia will be dropped. The lights go out, but it's not enough to save the other members of RDX. Double kill goes over to Urameshi. Tomb Eagle has arrived. SG Sin has gone very low. Fear Beyond Death doesn't land. Triple kill for Urameshi. Can he get the pinza? All 5 members are here. Tomb Eagle's gone low. It's a quadra for Urameshi. But the excitement from the Jigs does get him away. It actually doesn't look like it was the quadra as Dory K picks that one up, but still 4 kills for 1 going the way of Might BCB.
I mean, we're seeing really clearly the lack of Jinx's team to secure her that first kill, that get that excite, that accelerate. And Maokai stayed alive so long. He auto-attacked to get that passive proc. It was a small thing. You might have not even noticed it during the interaction of that fight, but doing that keeps him alive. Jinx can't get excited, can't go crazy, and her team just crumbles around her as they're unable for their main damage carry at this point in the game, still sitting on 1.5 items to just go online.
Speaking of the Maokai, we've got double Bandle Pipes out from the side of Might BCB, both in the hands of Sin and Red Panda. Going to be empowering the attack speed of Husky. I don't believe it stacks, even if they are
it is
both
a unique passive.
Also, not... Sorry, wrong ADC. It is Dory K. Speaking of Dory K, will flash away immediately and go on the hunt to escape. Does escape nonetheless. Twisted Advance drops down onto iGank, but there's 2 members of RDX here to really trouble all too much. Dredgeline just barely misses Dory K.
Sidesteps that so well. This could be a turn. We're seeing the TP.
Typhoon, Scout of the Week finds the knockback. It's a great glacial fissure to find everybody on the side of Might BCB. And as you mentioned, the teleport from Urameshi ensures that RDX can't escape. The cleanest of team fights that I've ever seen, at least at the IBSG level, comes through for Might BCB. 5-0 ace. They pick up the Drake, and Baron spawning in just a few seconds as well.
Yeah, just so clean. I mean, oh my gosh, the TP in for the counter, they push through, they might have got the mid turret, but we've seen it all game from CB, and they just punish instantly. They have the TP, boom, they're there. They follow, the Croc shows up, and it's like, hey, I'm sitting here, I'm 7-2, I got Sterix ready to go for this fight, and he doesn't even have to worry to pop it. Doesn't even get popped, doesn't take enough damage. Jinx can't get a kill, can't go crazy. Fight's just over.
Yeah, it was, I mean, just about perfectly, not even executed, but timed as well. Already covered it, but picking up the Drake, probably going to be the Baron as well, down to 1k HP. Obviously, there is no jungler here. It's actually kind of scarily close. Perhaps if there was vision, if the ward did go down, maybe gank pops the paranoia in time, but won't be able to find that there, and it does fully go the way of Might Be CB with both the Drake and the Baron into their, not inventories, but in their hands, I suppose. Will go their way, and now sitting up 6k gold here, 21 minutes in is a very significant advantage for CB.
Yeah, and they're just really has such a strong lead. How they play this Baron is going to be really telling of their cross-map team coordination. We've seen a lot of really good plays together using Herald and using just those TPs in that previous fight, but I want to see how do they execute Baron, because that is a really strong tell of how your team performs, especially in late game. And oh, Maokai
getting autoed away, taking down about a quarter of his HP. Not quite going to push much else. Gank going to use his spell shield to ensure it doesn't go away. Speaking of Gank, goes back in with the paranoia, but been a bit too separated off. Shockwave doesn't do all that much damage. Super Mega Death Rocket gets tanked up by IZK, doesn't do its full damage onto Typhoon. Now press forward down onto Gank side. Typhoon picks up that first kill. Sauce going to be knocked away, and one more auto attack is all they need. It'll actually be the concussive blows that secures the kill for the Braum. Husky will not be able to get away by any means. Dory K picks up that kill, and it's a 4-0 going the way of Might Be CB. Once again, another clean fight going the way of CB. All there is left is for Tomb Eagle to continue find out this 1v1 against Urameshi, but I don't really think there's much to do. Dominus is popped. We'll have to get away from the tower. Is able to get that top lane tier 2 tower, but more importantly, buys time for the side of CB to push in this top lane. May have stayed a little bit too far though. Typhoon is very low. Dredge line going to be used on the Siege minion to try to get some distance closed down, but Might Be CB are out of there.
Yeah, I mean, really good Baron execute. They kind of forced the enemy team to make a play when RDX really just needs to be like, hey, we're down in gold. They have Baron. We just have to let them push waves and just try to mitigate the bleeding. And CB is like, hey, we're just gonna keep pushing really hard. We're gonna take your jungle. And you're gonna either have to let it happen or fight us for it. And RDX make the mistake to fight for it, and they just end up losing so much more. They lose towers. They give kills. They lose so many camps, and across the map, they're just kind of stuck within that last ring of their inhibitors.
Yeah, now they are down 9k gold. Is not ideal, is one way to put it. If there's any I guess hope for them or any signs of life, it would be that about a few weeks ago, KT Rolster gave up a 14k gold lead over T1 in the LCK. That was so
Yeah,
even the best of the best, they can't.
That was a T1 circus. That was a T1 circus moment.
Hey, Owner was on Dr. Mundo. It's his best champ, okay? Like, come on.
Yeah.
It's just how it goes.
Maybe he read the tool tip for once and now understands how to play.
Either way, Sin's in trouble. Sauce is here, but Dory will eventually arrive. Can auto away. The Paranoia is dropped, but it looks like it's more to the top side of the map onto Urameshi. 3v1. Urameshi goes forward, tries to find Tomb Eagle, but the Fear Beyond Death secures a shutdown for Tomb Eagle.
Yeah, and that's also the flash used there. And Urameshi, his team is able to punish. They pick up this inhibitor with the last remaining parts of this Baron buff, but Sauce is here. He's posturing for something, but Husky not able to really follow, which is really important there. Without the ultimate from Nocturne, the most important member of RDX for these engages is Husky. They need to find a pick on that Syndra or the Sivir, and I realistically think Syndra is significantly easier to
Sauce
catch.
is in trouble. Will be the first one to go forward, taken down to about 2/3 HP. Really good vision control from Might Be CB to close out the angle, but Tomb Eagle is here. There is no Urameshi. It is a numbers advantage to the side of RDX if they do find a way in. Now is the time. Urameshi has respawned, does have access to the teleport, is channeling it up now, and so Sin goes forward, tries to follow through. The depth charge buys some time, but Sauce will go down as a result. First kill goes the way of Might Be CB. Husky retreating. The exhaust means he can't go anywhere. Typhoon picks up yet another kill, and Tomb Eagle cannot trade it back onto Dory K. 3 kills unanswered go the way of Might Be CB, and they have the push in the mid lane as they look to end the game.
They just execute that so flawlessly. They see that the Orianna and Nocturne are bot side on that fight looking for a pinch, and with no Nocturne ult available, they just pull the trigger directly onto Jinx and her teammates, and they're able to just take that 3v5, and it's exactly what we need to see from RDX to turn this game, and unfortunately just CB have not given them many ends.
Try to find it here. The Paranoia drops, shutdown goes the way of I-Gank, but Dory K's autoing away completely untouched, completely unbothered. 2 kills picked up by RDX, but there's not a lot of time left. Dory will spell shield the dredge line. He's completely untouched. He's completely unbothered. Shutdown goes onto the Maokai. Dory's autoing away at the Nexus, but it's not quite enough. Eventually goes down. Races for life. Is killed by the minions. Husky has the rockets to clear out the minion wave, so the game won't end here just yet. But the Nexus is exposed for RDX.
Yeah, this is not looking good for them. The next fight for RDX, if they do not win it, they lose. And with Baron on the map, that is going to be how CB should play. They need to force their team, or at least particularly, I think, the Renekton or Syndra, to go bot. Force members to come and match the bot push. And if they don't do that, then with the lack of TPs available from RDX can just look to take a 4v5 on Baron, win the game. If RDX do not respond appropriately to CB's play, they can straight up lose. And CP,
they're moving over to
they just need, they're going for the dragon here. It is not Soul, by the way.
No, it will be Soul Point, but it doesn't look like there's going to be much of a response from RDX, which is a bit understandable. Open Nexus.
I think they're thinking it's Baron. I think they're worried that it's Baron on the top side. You see their players positioning. Yeah. They're actually, they make the call that I think you and I, being in this game too, with the Fog of War, would be worried about, which is the enemy team rushing Baron and just pushing through mid-bot and ending.
You know, pushing through mid-bots. And lane is pushed up. Might Be CB. Looks like they're going to try to find the final push as quickly as possible. Aren't going to go for much
Jinx
else.
Is by themselves.
Is dropped going on to the back line. The Knockwave combo does so much, but it isn't quite enough to initially get the first few kills. Dory K autos away, but is not long for this world. Goes down. Shutdown picked up by Husky. It's a bit over ambitious from Might Be CB. Urameshi hit by the zap, trying to escape. Second one not quite hitting mark, is sidestepped away from, but the extra move speed from Aces for Life will find the second zap now onto Urameshi. The honey fruits are the way. Will have to force Husky and Razor for Life to go around. The empowered blast cone will get him
minions, look
away,
at the
but the
minions.
knockwave combo. You're talking about the minions. There's 3 super minions in the base. The recalls are coming through. Will it be enough to end? Recalls finally
they're
come
good.
through from Maze for Life and Tomb Eagle. They get back in time to be able to clear out the wave and ensure that we don't get a repeat of the summer 2024 LCS finals in that game 4, I believe it was. They'll survive.
We're
The
seeing
Nexus Towers have respawned as well.
we're seeing right now Husky come online in that fight. We saw them able to get excited and just melt out damage with the Infinity Edge, with the Runa's Hurricane, and just boom, 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 rocket multiple targets. And CB, they give away some of that gold lead. It's down to 6,000, and those who are familiar with League, once you get to the 3 items power spike for 80 carries, it doesn't really matter how far down you are as long as your team is able to peel for you, because you realistically can melt most players in the game.
Stab
And
of the week finds its way
they
on
start
the
it.
sauce. They're going to have to cut you off.
5,
because
it's
the Baron
4.
has gotten very low. The paranoia drops. Igank finds his way into the pit. He
steals!
steals it! Igank steals the Baron, flashes away, gets out, does go down in the process, but the Fear Beyond Death picks up one for himself. 2 goes forward. This is the moment. Husky's autoing away, but he's killed in time.
Oh, he's
too
gone.
far forward. Tori
He's
gets the
gone.
kill. It's an ace for Might Be CB. They saw the angle. They saw the victory for themselves. They saw the turnaround, but RDX pushes their advantage too far. Dory K is still alive, and he's autoing away. He does so much damage if he's left untroubled on the Sivir. And that will be game 1 going the way of Might Be CB.
That's such a fantastic job going from Might Be CB. And in that fight, Jinx gets the Excite and just gets too close. They don't check their auto attack range, and the Renekton Maokai are able to just get on top of them and kill them before she's able to kill Sivir. And once Sivir's still alive and your team gets aced, 80 carries are great at ending the game. They got so much wave clear and they got so much consistent DPS, and we saw it through that last end. Sivir just mopped the floor and just took them all the way home. Jinx almost had it. There was a glimpse. There was a glimpse in that last fight where Jinx kills a Sivir there and melts everyone. But unfortunately for them, and fortunately though for CB, they're able to secure the kill and secure game number 1.
Yeah,
With a very mid
because Might Be CB had a 9k gold lead at one point there, finished with a 7k for themselves. So wait, no, quick, that's 8k actually. But it didn't. It was way too dangerously close for having that amount of a gold lead. If we're being completely honest, for Might Be CB, the fact that it even looked like there was a glimmer of hope at one point for RivalsDX between that knock wave combo saving the game before, like, you know, getting those kills before Dory K was able to get the Nexus. They had no right making this claim as close as it was.
Yeah, that was definitely way closer than I expected, but you can see these damage numbers, particularly through the Jinx. Jinx was only down by around 3,000 gold towards the end there and was very close in DPS in these fights. And I want to highlight that while CB
portions of that game look to be might be CB's favored. RivalsDX definitely made it look a lot more close than it probably should have been, but we're straight into the draft. Bans are exactly the same as game one. Smolder be won by RivalsDX, but the immediate response for CB is picking up Rakan.
Yep, they're really gonna say, hey, you're not gonna punish the Smolder ban. We saw it in game number 1, I believe. They're just gonna quickly pick this up, and the response is this Rakan Kaisa, which I think can have a lot of potential with this charm. But we last game saw Dory do so well on that Sivir pick, have so much agency because of the kit, that picking this really scaling option, I think, is kind of taking away what he does for. Oh, sorry, my bad. I mixed them up. There's for Sky.
Rivals
Gosh, I
DX
did this
has
before.
moved on to the. No, it's okay. It's okay.
I think
Rivals
Husky.
DX
I
moved
think
over to the blue
Husky.
side.
I think Husky. This actually, the Smolder fits his playstyle. He seems to be a person who likes to play for the team fight, and he does quite well in that. I am a little worried though with the Jarvan pick, because we saw Nocturne do so much that game that
Hey.
Jarvan is a character.
His name, sorry,
Oh.
his name though. Hear me out. Is I gank. Who ganks a lot?
I mean, he did a fantastic job about that last series. I ganked. He did. He did. There's no question about that. We both saw. And the thing with Jarvan, though, is Jarvan's strength is he's a low econ jungler. What he allows is if he falls behind, he can still execute on his game plan. But I think what iGank fits as a role within his team is this similar role to what we see in a lot of like professional play, like players like Canyon play, which is this player who can get leads for his team through being really proactive on the map. And while Jarvan is capable of that, he's not really capable of being a carry the same way we saw Nocturne. And I think that's going to be a little tougher for Rivals to do. But what it does, though, is provide a lot of hard CC into the likes of CB.
Which they will lock in Silas for themselves. They do have quite a bit of mobility on the side of CB, a lot of ways to get out of the Cataclysm, whether it's an abscond or a battle dance, or even the ult from the Kaisa, allowing herself to reposition away from it. Plenty of options, at least currently, to avoid a lot of what Jarvan brings forward, but Leona also getting picked up on side of RivalsDX. Ran straight through the second round of bans, though. Malzahar, Yone, Viego, and Udyr not going to be available for either of these teams.
Yeah, I think Silas is a flex champion into some other roles, but with that Wukong lock, he's going to be in the mid lane. This could be a potential Smolder mid pick. It's not as common, I believe now, but nope, never mind that comment is completely voided with the Victor hover. Victor Silas is a very Victor matchup if he takes Summon Airy.
If he takes it.
And because he can just
Victor.
God, I just make a point, and it's like
it wasn't locked in.
Well, it doesn't matter now. He's going to play Anivia, which Summon Airy, I would not take Summon Airy. I would encourage you to not do that. I think Anivia really prevents Silas from roaming. I think with a lot of the mid changes, we're kind of seeing Rivals now with this composition. It's a lot of very fundamentally easy to execute champions that have really, really readable abilities for their team to follow up on with that wall.
Especially if they lock in the Ornn.
Yeah, and just a lot. It's gonna be Swain top
I
lane.
fell for it this time around, but yeah, Swain locked in for the side of Tumigal.
Wait. I think Swain is kind of a bait pick. The reason I say that is because it's not exactly gonna be the matchup into Silas. I think it's gonna be Swain top, but Silas is a champion. If he takes Conquer, can really, really take advantage of that ultimate. But the downside, though, is champions like Anivia are going to hard punish Silas in lane. He's going to get poked out so badly if he doesn't take this aggressive electrocute and stabilize an early game that we often see. A lot of people in the past will go for this Proto Belt electrocute Silas build just because he doesn't need Conquer. He's not going Rod of Ages as much anymore. But Swain, he kind of can't have it both. You can't have the Swain ult and the Conqueror and then have a good lane into Anivia. You kind of have to pick. You kind of have to pick which one you want here, which I think is a good choice from Rivals if they're gonna take the Swain. But Kennen too. Isaac, I don't know how often you've seen Kennen in this league. I don't think it's the most common pick top anymore.
Yeah, just in general, Kennen, is very reliant on finding a really good ultimate, but I mean, layering it with the Wukong, the amount of CC that it can bring, the amount of setup for the likes of the Kaisa and the Sylas to, follow up on it is, pretty intense. The only concern I have from the side of Might Be CB is actually the Swain pick. If he's not blown up immediately, as you mentioned with the Conqueror, can survive that initial punch that Might Be CB throws at them. And then once you do that, Swain really loves it when he has champions running into him. And I think if Tomb Eagle can survive the first punch that Might Be CB throws at them, I think this Swain could be very difficult to handle.
Yeah, this is going to be a range matchup in the top lane. The thing is, we haven't really seen Kennen be this dominant top lane force in a number of years. He's never really fallen away from being a pick as that AP option for many teams, but he's really no longer this champion that we saw just take over games with Nuggery in Damwon back in the day. He really popularized the champion about, I think that's now 6 years ago. And
that would have been Worlds 2020. I think,
yeah, Worlds
right?
20 and 20 through 2022. Because he played in Damwon on 22 when they got knocked out of groups. And the champion has really just got a lot of nerfs because of what he really showed the champion was capable of.
Kleptomancy.
Going with that Doran Blade start on Kennen and just beating Bin so badly that they they had to rethink top lane. They're like, holy hell, dude, this guy just got crushed.
Yeah, bro single-handedly got Kleptomancy removed from the game.
Yeah, bro. Him and the Shy really made a pact there, and they just said Kleptomancy is just gone. The Shy in 2019 and him were just Kleptomancy abusers on Jace. It was actually terrible. I don't think a single top laner in Worlds could really match either of them. They were both sitting around averaging 3k goldies every game, and they just kind of took it over.
Dude, do you remember how Kleptomancy gave you a random chance of giving you a random amount of gold? That was
yeah. Oh, you know how you can just get free items? Oh, sorry, I just got a level up. I got a level up orb. Yeah.
Oh yeah. By the way, I got a health pot. I can now just trade with you into impunity because I just got free health, dude.
It was so ridiculous. They really did have to go. I do think the Leona pick is going to be a hard thing to pilot, but if piloted well, just enables her team so well. Leona has very, very poor disengage and escape. She's not Nautilus. She can't hook onto structures and walk away. She's not Rakan. She doesn't have a dash. If she's caught, she's caught. And that's going to be something that CB can look to take advantage of. If Leona pushes up, they can look to punish her and really, really take advantage of her lack of mobility to get away from fights and turn the desire to gain her team vision into a potential weakness. That's a crack in the armor. Rivals, though, need to support their support in that pursuit of vision. It's a really easy thing to not do. Many teams don't, especially even in ranked. You'll notice it happens quite often, where they don't support their support trying to get vision before objectives, and they'll get caught out, chunked, forced to base, or even die, and all of a sudden the fight is unwinnable. Didn't matter if they had vision or not. Oh. Isaac, I don't know, man.
I can't think of anybody in the room with us right now who would do that, right? Yeah, and, I can't think of anybody. But yeah, and even irrespective of that, and like helping out this Leona from getting vision, is that there aren't necessarily a lot of good targets for Sauce to really go. And obviously there's the Kaisa, but even then, if she doesn't get blown up immediately, she just ults away. As Flash can go invisible after she gets enough attack speed. It's and then other than the Kaisa, that's not what?
That is a Callista hover. I know it's spelled with a K,
Okay.
but
oh wait, no. Okay, wait, no. I see. I see how it works. What the setup that they have for us here from Raven. I was a bit concerned for a second. They didn't lock it in when the name pops up. It wasn't locked in. I thought for a second we might have ran into a few issues here with the champ selection. Yeah.
But with this game though, particularly, you bring up the lot of the mobility around that Leona, and that is true. What Leona does allow, though, is this Kennen should just get punished really hard for his positioning. Normally, Kennen tries to find Fog of War ult opportunities. He's going to be rushing that Hex Tech into Zanya's magical footwear, or not magical footwear, sorcery boots. And that's kind of like the classic 3-item power spike that we see from Kennen. It's been like that for years, doesn't really change too much. But if you're able to catch, he's not tanky with that build. Keep in mind, like if he gets caught before a fight starts, he's just dead. And without Kennen, they're really reliant on Sin and Typhoon just tonking people out so that Dory can just start like hitting some good attacks. But if you look at what their team does, Sauce is really good at CCing up a target. He just picks someone and just gonna be like, yeah, you're just gonna stay with me for a second. And he's just gonna sit with them basically. He's gonna stun them, he's gonna root them,
are ready to go once again, loaded onto Summoner Rift. We apologize for the little delay with how long it took, but you know, sometimes it does take a little while to load in. But we're finally here for week 2 action, game 2 action here in Ember Cinder League between Mike BCB and RivalsDX.
And again, we're going to see this traditional 5-point. A lot of teams have to change their level 1 tactics with the way that this game now spawns minions, these timers. Oh, and that's going to be an early start. They go for it, and Sin does not have the HP for this.
Brass didn't quite hit the mark. Not going to take him down, but he's all right. With how soon things spawn these days, you're just going to have to manage with these low health bars.
Yeah, importantly enough, the ward dropped on those Raptors for both teams, and that's going to allow them to really understand where the pathing is going on. And within the next minute, CB will know that J4 is pathing top the bot, and vice versa for RDX. They're going to be able to plan accordingly. This bot lane, level 3 around this 4-minute mark is going to be a hot topic for both teams.
Yeah, and that is also one of the things that these early starts that we have here in season 16, is it? 2026
I don't know.
is the official
2026 is what I call it.
The official title is season 2026, so we'll roll with that. But with how the point, back to the point, is that with how early these spawns are between the minions and the jungle camps, is that when you do spawn each other out like that, you can't recall and go back anymore. So when you see the other one, you know that they have to start on that side of the map, and it's just how it goes and how it be.
Yeah, it really has also changed jungle swapping. In the past, we a lot of times would see junglers, which I thought was a really cool mechanic, would drop their ward base, pick up red trinket, and kind of do that whole switcheroo shenanigans, that gymnastics, and we kind of lost that, and I understand why. Increase the game speed, make it a little more exciting, but there's a few things like that unfortunately. The flash comes through. He's safe. He's alive and well with that TP. But
other thing to note though, Mossman is back in the lineup, but going for
he pops the passive. He goes under
the mid lane,
and he thinks
looking for the kill. Does get it, has the damage. CB Typhoon is able to once again get a kill on the gank from iGang. It's not even going to be traded back.
He sidesteps the
Q. Typhon just does it again, and Anivia has that passive. It gets popped and just does not have enough time to flash, and just a really well executed play coming out from them. They knew that the jungler was topside, and I believe the punish came out with the red buff being stolen by Wukong.
They do get that away. Wukong is up in the CS department. And I mean, on top of Typhoon getting that kill, it feels really bad on the side of RDX. Luckily, Razors for Life does have access to the teleport, so they won't miss out on too much gold. But it definitely is not how you wanted that to go. It's not how RDX drew that engagement up at all.
Yeah, and I think while the mid lanes have been pretty quite at it, I mean, we're seeing a CS diff around 12. That first blood has really given that goal lead over to Silas. Look at bot lane. Kaisa just is not given any agency with the way that Husky's playing the wave manipulation. They're able to get a lot of these comments procs off their W, and Kaisa just keeps pushing this wave into the tower, and Husky's safe. He's got flash, he's got barrier, he's got nothing to worry about.
He's quite all right, especially without jungle intervention, especially before level 6, without access to the Cyclone on the Wukong. Means that RDX's bot lane is safe. Husky is allowed to scale up. We obviously highlighted him as a potential point of pressure, especially as the game goes on for the side of RDX. We saw as soon as he hit the late game, got those 3 items. Before we get to that, Razor for Life going to
Oh.
dodge out the abduct, but is getting taken low anyway. Going to flash away from CB Typhoon. On low health, no teleport either. iGank is here, but I don't know if there's much he can really do with how low Razor for Life
Oh,
is.
he finds the minion.
Drag comes through, won't quite hit the mark. Typhoon will just heal back up with the Kingslayer, and is all right.
Okay, right now, Anivia does have ult. She can drop that down, has enough mana to really get this wave to push through and get that recall. And we're seeing
iGank comes through.
iGank comes through again, putting a lot of pressure, and we're kind of seeing the CS difference has stabilized mid. It's no longer what it used to be. I do not know the exact point value of a kill for the role quests, so I can't tell if Anivia is ahead or behind or even. But I'm just gonna say they're probably even given the way that minions are counted. Ooh, Husky.
I think Husky's probably fine. Sauce is not far away. Has access to the flash, flap, and the flash. But isn't very strong just yet. So with all that push, even though it meant that Husky is safe, doesn't mean might be CB moves straight on to the Drake, and there's not much that RDX can really do to answer.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing the pressure coming out from onto that mid laner, getting punished with Sin just farming up. He's got a pretty good camp lead right now onto his 3 camps, 2, and then that dragon. And right now, Jarvan's just kind of playing the catch-up game. Can't do too many things. Typhoon has a cannon wave here. If he tries to freeze, he can, but he's going to take a lot of damage to do it. Just kind of walking around. No jungler nearby for him to gank. He's probably got a minute before he can get some assistance from Wukong. Hoping to get another solo kill. He does have that completed Amplifying Tome item into the Hextech Revolver, which with that Electrocute build can be a difference maker for sure. And he does it.
Oh, wow. Okay, I mean, we didn't even get to see it, but another solo kill for CB Typhoon. Once again,
oh, the flag drag. He doesn't get the auto. It's not enough.
It's not enough to secure the kill on to CB. We might even have the option. Let's go back around, bring that replay exactly how CB Typhoon got this solo kill. So we weren't able to see it live just yet. Finally comes through. Unfortunately, it's not quite far back enough to see the initial drop through.
Oh, he
dodges
misses
out the stun as well.
I don't know if he stunned him up with his chains preventing the confirmation of the Q. Small thing that makes a big difference. Another thing is J4 flashed, then flag and dragged. You can flag and drag, then flash to hide it better if you choose. It is a hard thing to execute, and a lot of players don't attempt it because if you do mess it up, it just doesn't do anything and you burn flash. But there is the argument to do it there to get that knock up on Silas for the kill, and Typhoon is just going to be looking for another trade. Hits it, connects.
And the knock up. Razor for Life gets him very low with just one rotation of spells. Razor for Life probably going to have to recall once again. At least does have the teleport back up in 2 seconds. But I mean, it feels like if they do come back, they might just be recalling immediately afterwards if CB Typhoon does land the Abscond Abduct once again. And it's not ideal currently for Razor for Life.
Yeah, Razor going for this TP. This is a flank angle. 4 members coming out from RDX. They're going for the bot play. Sauce needs to drop the ultimate now. They saw the teleport.
Yeah,
it will get
the cleanse is used early by Dory K, and so it's just too much for him to survive. The battle dance will be used to try to escape. Gets the charms. Now flashes away, so IZK will get away. Good use of the teleport from the side of Razor for Life to help set up that kill.
Oh my gosh. I don't know how many of you actually saw what happened. And I don't know if this was intentional, but Leona played the cleanse game. He dropped the ultimate and held his auto. Basically hoping that with how animated or how the animation works. Oh, never mind. We go to the top side. I don't even get to finish my point.
Ults, but Sin is here. Mossman's gone low. Flashes to try to find Urameshi, but won't be able to do it. Not quite having the same luck that CB Typhoon was getting in those ganks in game 1.
Yeah, and what I was trying to say was that he played the mind game where he expected the Kaisa to cleanse the R. It's really well telegraphed and just really easy to react to. But as soon as he cleansed it, didn't even give him a chance to cast Killer Instinct. Just instantly stunned him up again, and his team was just there with the follow-up. I need Leona to get credit for how they played that. It sounds... Oh, the flash!
Typhoon goes forward, but it's a trade of flashes. iGank and Sauce are here. Flag Drag not going to find the knock-up. Don't know if Sauce... it looks like the Solar Flare was off cooldown. Maybe it just came off cooldown and didn't have it in the time that was used. So CB Typhoon once again drawing a lot of pressure from RDX, but once again going to be able to get out comfortably.
Yeah, and we're seeing the Swain. Players who are competent in Swain are able to do that EW just so consistently. I mean, we see it almost all the time. And it just gives him so many free stats through his scaling HP. And again, boom, Crow taken. And just going to continue to scale. He's just putting so much pressure, and with iGank showing up, this could be a potential kill on the top side. The ultimate is on, though, and Flash. I just don't think this is the play for them. Oh!
Drag comes through.
Flash
away, and yeah, but they do get the Flash out of the cannon. It's a very important tool, both offensively and defensively, especially for finding these flank angles. It gives you that extra distance on top of the rocket belt that Tomb Eagle has, or no, sorry, Urameshi, wrong top laner.
Hey, we're about to see Husky complete that Cole. He's one creep score away. And with that, that will swing a kill's worth of gold over to him and really put him in the driver's seat for this bot lane matchup. Meanwhile, Wukong. Oh.
Sauce going in onto Dory. Doesn't have access to that cleanse. Looked like he went onto
Dory's
it, but the
low.
camera focus is elsewhere. As you mentioned, the health bar is low. The Ignite comes through. Husky gets that kill. We weren't able to see it, but before we get back to that, the Battle Dance comes forward, gets the knock-up onto Husky, gets him low. Second cast of the Cyclone, sets up the kill for CB Typhoon. Cataclysm drops down from Typhoon to lock in the members of RDX. Race for Life is able to trade one back around. They're looking to get the final kill onto Typhoon. Abscond, abduct, lands the knock-up. Kingslayer heals him up. IZK doing his best to heal and shield with the Rakan coming through. Mossman gets Urameshi on the side, but Typhoon's still alive. Finally, Razors for Life gets the shutdown. It takes a lot to kill CB Typhoon, but they get him in the end.
Yeah. And we're going to go back to this replay, looking at the Kaisa, this whole fight going down. And we're actually just going to start that ultimate coming down from Typhoon. Just keeps his team inside the Anivia ultimate. I don't think that was his intention. He wants to try to keep the J4 and the Anivia together, but they're willing to burn the flash and get away, and in doing so makes this 2v2 really difficult. Typhoon just has so many stacks, but without a Conqueror, he just can't heal enough to stay alive.
And so Razor for Life picks up a massive shutdown for themselves. Going to get them a really big injection of gold. We look at live now. Not quite having
was
completed
used
the first
by Dory.
item just yet. I think
Yeah.
what's a bit interesting is that Razors for Life hasn't gone for the typical tier Archangels build first on the side of the Anivia, not going for that scaling build.
Is that a Luden's completion? No, that's not. That's no.
Malignance.
Interesting. He's going for the additional damage through Malignance procs whenever players walk into the ultimate. Not super familiar with Anivia's build paths, but regardless, I think he's trying to just be as much of a utility for his team.
With it, though. Right,
I just don't think it doesn't repeatedly. It doesn't repeatedly proc. It only
Does
requires
it not? Well,
no.
then,
Although that would be
then
insane.
Then I don't see the vision. Never mind.
Oh.
But either way, gets that CB2 Typhoon tries to go in onto Razors for life. He's getting CC'd down real fast, killed before he can do much of anything. Razors for life picks up that first kill, but the autoing away from Hussey gets the second one. iGank being able to separate out the members of MBCB. Dory has to get away. It's a clean fight going the way of RDX, but MBCB at the very least get a Drake for themselves as Dory has to flash away from the flag and drag for Vigank.
Yeah, I was actually expecting Dory to do a sidestep there and take it, but he doesn't want to take any risks after that fight. He's just there to get himself out. He just got his first item. Meanwhile, we're seeing so many stacks coming through for Smolder here, and he's already at 116, going to continue to stack up and be very much on pace for that 215 by this third dragon, and hopefully we can see that 225 before Baron spawns.
He's also up 1.1k gold, and I don't know about Yuntal's first on the Kaisa as well. Obviously being 0-2 and down 1k gold is going to feel bad either way, but speaking of Typhoon, just going to get burned down, going to steal the solar flare, going to use his best to try to get the kill onto the Anivia, but the passive is available for Razors for life, so he's fine. He'll be respawning right back up with full health at the mid lane.
Yeah, and with that passive, it looked like a really good engage coming out from Typhoon, but the A keeps him alive, given that free GA for him to just continue to be there. And with the Ignite, Leona, all of that, just going to be okay. He does have that Dark Seal itemization, and he's actually down by about 1,000 gold because of just continually to try to fight this Anivia. And he's no longer in the lead in this mid lane that we saw earlier, and as he's taken Electrocute, that early laning power is going to start to dwindle.
Yeah, it is gone for the Rocket Belts as a first item. Going to be trying to use that to get onto the likes of the Smolder and the Anivia, essentially. Going to be looking to burst down either of these targets. We move our focus to the top lane. iGank, we can try to set things up for Mossman instead. They're just going to use the extra pressure and the charge from the Rift Herald that they just got to be able to get this tower for themselves. First tower goes the way of RDX, looking to get a second charge. We'll get it through. And yet a flag drags away is all right. CB Typhoon not going to give up on this play just yet. Does have a lot of gap closers, trades of flashes by Typhoon and Mossman. Still has the rocket belt available for both. Goes forward, Cataclysm drops down. Everyone's in between each other. Mossman's gone low, so is Urameshi. They kill him to Mossman. His Razors for life comes up in the top lane. Typhoon is still alive. Will land duck on Razors for life. Kingslayer does his best to keep him alive, but the extra two members of RDX will be able to get the kill over for themselves.
Yeah, RDX is completely in the driver's seat. The change of playstyle, we're really seeing the mid lane, which since we saw in game 1 go for Typhoon and it worked out really well, he just did not convert those leads into a lot more long-lasting things. Mid lane is no longer a role where you can just constantly lane all the time, and he tried to make it an attempted play bot, but if you don't turn that into kills, we saw a pretty tragic fight for CB here turn into a wide gold swing for Smolder and Stacks. And
a flash forward onto the clone from Sauce. Gets tricked out by the Wukong. There's no flash available for the support of RDX. I don't know if we're going to see too much. I mean, yeah, with the blast cone, but I don't think we'll see too much else. Especially as Drake doesn't spawn for the next 40 seconds. It is coming up relatively soon, but not quite up just yet. And it might be one that might be CB. Just look to just give as they are on 2 Drakes themselves.
Yeah, I think the nice part about having these early Drake pressure through your opponent picking Smolder is it gives you time to stall. Unfortunately, their team doesn't have a ton of scaling champions that they really want to take to stall, particularly the Silas and Wukong aren't really looking to stall or looking to fight. Kennen has ultimate up, so he's just kind of sitting there.
Oh, IZK going to use the Grand Entrance as an escape. Going to have to flash away from the queue of Razors for Life as well. Going to drop that extra mobility for the side for the Rakan. And now Urameshi just caught out with nowhere to go. RDX going to absolutely pick up that kill for themselves. They will take the gift of the gold that Urameshi given them.
Yeah, and that's going to be ultimate from Kennen getting burned there. He tries to take it to stay alive, and the Cataclysm just kept him. And there was really no way for him to get out. In doing so, it's just another key ability for CB. Sorry, CB just not being able to stay up for them. And looks like Sin coming to help.
Going on to Mossband with Typhoon. When the ult's going to be healing up this
the flash
possible. The flash for it is able to secure the kill. It is a trade 1-for-1 in the gank though.
He stays to the tower. He understands that this is some pretty big gold for his team, but it's not yet to be objective bounties. Rakan is in the top side again, hovering to protect, and they're gonna switch some Soul Lander's bot to catch. And again, this is just some pretty typical mid-game laning positioning from both teams. As eyes towards the Baron, Smolder is not going to be at that stack threshold. He has been playing very passively just in order to like stay alive, which I think is the right call given his team's lead. But that also means he's going to be delayed on hitting that 225 that we normally see around the 20-minute mark.
That is all right though. I mean, the mid lane has been going quite all right for Typhoon, sitting 6-2 and 5 on this Anivia. Be a definite point of pressure for RDX to deal with, CB to deal with, as we got also those nice fancy camera work from Raven. As we got the dragon up and available on the map, but I don't exactly think we'll be seeing too much getting thrown over to the Baron. We won't see another 20-minute Baron this time around.
Yeah, I will be interesting to see if both teams really posture for this Baron. I think CB needs to just look for these plays on the side lanes, and I think that's what they're doing onto this swing. They have the ultimate here, and both of them.
And the two ults will eventually be traded back around. Sin goes forward, pops the Cyclone, will do his best to burn down the Swain. They do get it. CB Typhoon is the one who picks up that kill, but now in the mid lane, IZK will use the Grand Entrance as an escape. Battle Dance will dodge away from the Solar Flare, won't get stunned out. But all four members of RDX arrive in the mid lane. Flag drag goes forward from iGank to try to threaten a Cataclysm onto Dory K. But
Kennen
now on the
with
flank
the flash
will be walled away. And so Urameshi not going to look for much else. It was still a 3v4. He went in there and probably wisely decides not to push his luck.
Yeah, and that's actually from CB here is a really good punish. They get a top lane kill, they swing some gold into their mid lane and jungle, and they didn't really lose anything mid. Yes, they lost some plates and some tower damage, but you're going to lose it anyway with the way that the Smolder's pushing this mid wave, and you don't have too much to deal with it.
And yeah, we have our vision now into bot lane. Okay, no, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say is, what do you think CB needs to do in order to give them a better fighting chance? Yes, they can look for these picks, but eventually Smolder's gonna be like, hey team, let's just do Baron. And once that happens, it's really difficult to do anything when the opposing team just shoves in through mid and protects the Smolder, who is really strong, right? He's hit that second item. Your Kai'Sa still just completed Infinity Edge. Doesn't even have boots. Oh, never mind. I'm wrong. It does have boots.
Yeah.
Going for, looks like a dagger build. Probably not Aruna's Hurricane. Probably Nashor's Tooth for the upgraded W.
The upgraded Void Seeker is an option. I don't know if the Nashor's Tooth alone has it, because usually you'll see like Kraken Slayer into like a
you can complete it with an Amtone and Natchez Tooth, a lot of times people go Gwinsu's as a second item instead
Yeah.
of Affinity Edge, just because normally crit items just aren't super strong on Kai'Sa in general, compared to other AD carries, just because she has so many abilities she wants to use.
Yeah.
Still raw damage is a pretty valuable stat, and attack speed for her passive, but crit is still a valuable option. Let's not make that like sound like you can't build crit. It's just that's what people tend to build. Oh,
By the way, flag drag comes forward from iGank. IZK has plenty of
Oh!
ability. Second cast of the battle. Dance gets away from the Cataclysm. So REX spending a lot to be able to try to pick out a Rakan. Won't be able to do so. Won't have access to that Cataclysm. As we have Drake spawning up real soon. It's up actually now. But IZK going to use the Battle Dance again to get away from the Zenith Blade. Won't get caught. Flag Drag goes forward. Will be hit this time. iGank on a killing spree. Gets the Rakan finally. IZK punished for his crimes of being too far forward. A numbers advantage goes the way of RDX. The grasp finds its way onto Sin. Going to try to get away into this dragon pit. We're looking up. Urmeshi's gone low though, but before we get to that, Sin's gone in. Sin's gone down. No option to steal. Dory K going to try to get away, but he cannot. Slowly getting burned down. Does actually get the kill onto Mossman, but goes really low in the process. Razors for life will eventually claim Dory. Now, actually, it's not quite an ace as the respawns had finally come through. But it's a very clean fight for RDX. They only lose, actually don't lose anyone in the process. Never mind, they lost. The graphics aren't quite right. The Urmeshi, no, Boss Man, jeez, went down in the
the
process.
top laner is dead.
We've had so many top laners in this series so far before it gets out. Urmeshi, speaking of, will use the Slicing Maelstrom, only going to find Sauce. Uses that Eclipse to be able to get him those resistances. Keeps himself alive in the process. And no ult for the Kinnan. Relieves a lot of potential pressure that he brings.
Something that I want to note is the fact that J4 was able to kill Rakan before he cast his ultimate, or even cast heal to stay alive because of the knockup, made that fight a 4v5. And even though they had burned resources prior through the Cataclysm, it didn't really matter because they were able to effectively punish Rakan and start that fight up. And it kind of put Wukong and the rest of his team in a difficult situation where they try to go in, and Anivia, again, just zones away the cannon, making the fight a 3v4. And they just do not have the damage right now in those itemization to effectively deal with those champions.
Razors for Life has also now picked up a death note for themselves, with now stacking, adding pages to that. IZK in trouble, snared up by Sauce. Solar Flare drops down, Flag Drag comes through, Cataclysm secures a kill for iGank. Sin's gone low, Husky gets the second one for RDX. Picks right at around the Baron pit, so they turn straight onto it.
Yeah, they're going to be turning their eyes right onto this Baron, and this is just an incredible change of form from Game 1 that we saw. Game 1, we really saw them in the back foot trying to claw their way in, and CB just complete control. This game, it's like the blue side buff. Whoever's in blue has just had the entire authority of the game, and unlike Game 1 though, there's not a single member of CB who has a real effective lead that they can look to win the game through. I think the best chance is to play through this Silas and get a kill onto the Smolder, or really any champion with bounties. Get some gold onto your carries for CB, and if they don't, Rivals are going to take us to a Game 3 without much contest.
Yeah, I think the best option, as you said, is through this Silas, maybe finding in transition a Smolder, perhaps, or maybe in a side lane. Someone left completely unprotected, especially as there are no objectives on the map currently. Even though Baron is in the hands of RDX. I mean, maybe if they found Mossman a few times in the side lanes before, so it's not outside of the realm of possibility, but outside of those two options, there's really not much available to Mike BCB to to help them propel themselves back in this one, because Husky, I mean, that was just one spell landing its way out the door. He chugs for about
Yeah.
15% of his health, which doesn't sound like much, but for how little that actually landed onto him, it was quite a bit. And hold on, Typhoon, talking about side lanes, raises for life in the 1v1, doesn't have as much available to him. Will go into the egg form, but Typhoon should surely have enough damage to secure the kill, and he does. A shutdown picked up by CB Typhoon, but all in the while, mid lane tier 2 gets claimed by RDX, as well as the top lane tier 2.
Yeah, they're just putting a lot of pressure here.
Wrong
Both
lane.
teams.
Yeah.
Rameshi does have his ultimate. This could be a potential look if his team is willing to follow. Kaisa does have Killer Instinct and the cleanse available. Rakan has his ultimate. They need to look for a pick onto this Smolder. They need a lot, and we're already seeing Rameshi getting poked out by minions. They can't really afford to walk up, and with Silas not willing to base, they also don't have their strongest member.
Will recall now, but the response from RDX is to move away. The Drake is spawning in 20 seconds. They're going to try to death bush here. Wait for a few straggling members of Might Be CB, looking to maybe claim some vision. Looks like it could potentially be IZK. Instead, he backs away, and it looks like Might Be CB are just going to be giving up the soul point to the side of RDX.
I really like this death push and vision control that RDX have set up here, but we really need to also see CB fight for this. I know that they are down by gold, but the current state of the game isn't going to get any better. They just secured a lot of bounties. They have some itemization completions coming through for their carries, and they just continue to give these objectives up just because they have zero vision. You have blue trinkets available. You have champions like this Rakan who can get out and has shown to get out when they walk forward and get caught. Take advantage of that to provide vision.
Now, other things to keep note of. Dory K finishes his third item, picking up the Fiend Hunter bolts. So really specking into the crit on the Kaisa. A bit of an unorthodox build, not one we see very often these days, and I don't think I've really seen Kaisa pick up the Fiend Hunter bolts just about ever. But I mean, I don't know. I've not tried it myself, so I can't quite knock it too much. But I don't know. It seems a little bit odd because they're really relying on you casting your Killer Instinct. But I think
the angle that they're hoping for is the Killer Instinct onto the Smolder, and they just they throw everything they got. They throw the whole kitchen sink.
I guess.
And look, they're making a play bot side. The TP's coming down onto Mossman.
Yeah, Mossman has nowhere to go, completely zoned out. Will auto his potential and only way out in the blast cone, has nowhere to go. Sin will pick up that kill. Mossman once again caught out in the side lane, but equally once again as he's caught out, that opens up space. Elfer now in the mid lane. RDX looking for a space forward. Igank might have gone a bit too far, but Mom is called. It's a 2 kills going the way of RDX. They are able to get Igank in the process, but they lose more for it. Looking to take this mid lane inhibitor tower. IZK hanging in there, trying to wait for his team to respawn up, but it doesn't look like Urameshi's looking to recall. Finally coming through, but it takes too much time, and so RDX back away.
Yeah, we're seeing some just overall really good gameplay from RDX there. They throw the Smolder ult down, so many stacks, they have a lot of damage. They know that the flank champions of Wukong and Kennen are just not available. Those powerful ultimates, and they're able to just pick up kills onto Kaisa, and they have no Killer Instinct too. They had the flash, but I just don't think they expected the damage. Tower falls, inhibitors open, Baron on the look. I mean, I think the writing's on the wall for the second game through Baron through mid.
Yep, 6k up for RDX, but more importantly, Smolder is on 4.5 items, nearly picking up that Bloodthirst. It's more like 4 2/3 if we're being completely honest. And as soon as that Bloodthirster comes through, it becomes even harder to kill this Smolder. And yeah, it's just not really an ideal situation to be in if you are MBCB. Especially as, I mean, it's just late game Smolder things, for being completely honest. That's not going to stop Urmesher from trying, but he's going to get stunned up and completely deleted before he can do anything. So numbers advantage to the side of RDX. They're going to look for IZK. Mom's going to be called, stunned up by the Q, and Razors for Life will claim IZK. So 2 kills unanswered once again for RDX. Means for the second time in this game, they move on to the Baron.
Yeah, and with that, they're just going to start this up. Going to take it down pretty quickly, just getting melted with no contest for a steal. Their Nivea is holding mid, and they're just going to look to take this Baron, push through mid, and very swiftly end the game. I just don't think there's too much else.
Eyes on the mid lane. It's a fun camera that we've got, but in the process, SG Sin was killed, so a little bit having a little bit too much fun with those camera angles, perhaps. But all the while, that does mean that RDX does go in. They take the mid lane. They do have respawns coming up in 30 seconds on the Wukong. It is a 4v5. RDX pushing into the lane now. Battle Dance going to be used in Grand Entrance. Going to find his way onto a few members. Dory K has the opportunity. Shutdown goes the way of Urameshi. And now they're still holding around, but it's just not nearly enough. It's probably about the best look that might be CB would have been able to find. But it's just, they're just a bit too far behind now. Baron pushed in the mid lane. Sin has come back up. iGank is very low, so is Husky. Grabs, finds his way onto Sin. Gets the auto onto iGank, but Husky in the meanwhile gets the kill. Dory managing to find the shutdown onto the Smolder. Is alive, but is on the wrong side of the map. They've got the push in the mid lane with the Baron recall coming through for the side of Dory K. Mossman slowly whittling away at the Nexus Tower. The recall finally completed by Dory K is now healed back up. The recon is here, but he's grasped by Mossman. The Grand Entrance doesn't hit the mark, but it doesn't matter. Dory K gets the kill and makes this game last just that much longer. Might be CB are still alive.
And what a fight. I mean, CB, their Nexus turrets getting hit, they're just barely holding on. Almost a repeat of game number 1, just the team swapped with the Nexus turrets being destroyed and the game not being ended. We just haven't seen that end execution. They pick up a few members. A great execution on that team fight. I don't know how many of you saw the recon into Kennen Ultimate into Silas, just like these layering the CC. Really did a great job for them providing damage and taking out important carries before they were able to respond. Smolder did look like he was just so far ahead and got a lot of necessary kills. Going for this looks like GA now will be difficult in Soul Point. That's going to be 4 Infernal Drags.
Yeah, a 4 Infernal Drake. Infernal Soul is a lot of extra damage going to the way of RDX as if they needed it. I mean, it helps. It feels good. And Husky is going to be doing a lot more, especially now, as you mentioned, does have access to that Bloodthirster, so will be just that much more difficult to kill and dealing that much more damage, even though they are still technically alive and in this game. It's going to be very difficult for Might Be CB to be able to come back into this one now. Luckily, we're starting to get to that point in the game where total items start to matter a little bit less. That's how late we are, 37 3/4 of a minute in. But nonetheless, I mean, Smolder scales infinitely. We've seen how much damage Husky can do on this little dragon here. So unless they can find another miracle fight angle, it's still very much in favor of RDX, but they don't have the Baron buff. So it might not be as easy to push in this bot lane tier 3. It's going to start to siege it out. They do have the range though, and if Might Be CB line up 1 by 1 for this, I don't think that they really have much of a chance to be able to stop the push from RDX. Sin's doing his best to try to find a flank. Will be spotted out by Sauce and iGank. They're now going down. An
Ooh.
inhibitor is open. Typhoon is slowed up. We'll be able to get away with the abscond. That means the pressure now is moved forward onto this bot lane inhibitor. Slowly getting whittled away. Sin is found. Sin is chunked.
Oh, the ultimate.
Targeting is not quite right. It goes onto the clone, and the layering of the CC comes through. Mom is called. Dory goes a bit too far in, and any hope that might be CB had for this game is not quite done just yet. The Urumeshi's damage comes through. Mossman is extremely healthy though. Urumeshi, I mean Mossman's hell. He's too healthy. My goodness, this is the strength of the swing when you run into him. The ult comes through. Triple kill for Mossman. Is able to end things out here, and it was a really good look from Might Be CB, but just a little bit too much to handle for them.
And with these mini waves, they're going to take this game, pushing us to game number 3. A really well executed fight coming out from CB there. But again, the itemization, the choices of how they chose to play is going to result in a loss, particularly through and what I thought weaker mid and early game showing than we saw in game number 1. Maybe blue side is the key.
Does have a 100% win rate, and it was relatively controlled from RDX throughout the duration of it. They did stumble a little bit towards the end there. It did take them. We probably would have liked the ending to be a little bit cleaner from RDX, but at the end they do manage to pick up the win anyway and send us through to game 3. Just a bit too much power available to the side of RDX for Might Be CB to be able to handle. I think we might have lost Flash, so with that,
Sorry.
we're going to try to
I was
bring
just
him back.
like,
okay.
I'm just sitting here thinking about this game, and I know that obviously Kaisa sold all their items. I was really hoping to see if they actually had a 4th item completion there towards the end of that game.
I don't think it was likely considering they were only on like one component, but
I think it's pretty clear in this game number 2 that their team is really good at following calls, particularly CB. Meanwhile, I think the overall macro decision making going behind RDX is very strong. I saw it in game number 1. I'm seeing it even more so when they're in the driver's seat in game 2. So this game number 3 is, can RDX maximize their macro, which I think they're going to be able to do, but minimize the playmaking potential found in Typhoon and his jungler? And if that happens, RDX, I think, have a clean game 3. If we do not see those objectives complete, I think CB with the blue buff power. CB with the blue buff power. Gosh, I keep mixing up these teams on who's blue and who's red, but I think they're gonna come back. I mean, the graph shows it pretty strongly. There's a lot of blue over there, and it just keeps climbing. So, hey, just how does this Typhon guy just keep getting solo kills mid? I don't even know. I'm lost for words. Like, you could literally hear it. And it just happens again in game number 3, and he's actually just able to get online without being shut down by jungle pressure or whatever. He's gonna be a problem. But at the current way that RDX is playing, they're not really letting him.
We have that to look forward to in a little bit, but when we come back from this break, it will be the final draft for game 3 between RivalsDX and Might Be CB here in the Ember Cinder League. So don't go anywhere. We'll be bringing that to you in just a few moments. I'm sorry, what was that? Yeah, it's a very short break. Yeah, but no break? Oh, wait, hold on. Apparently we're getting straight into draft because that's that little delay that we had at the start does mean that these teams are ready to go and no break. Get baited. We're just going straight away. Might Be CB picks blue side.
Get out of here. Ashe, again, ban that champion. I actually don't feel like Ashe is that powerful of a pick in bot side. It is a lot of utility in her kit with her arrow and with the hawk shot, but we're almost seeing a repeat of these first 3 bans. Can someone correct me if I'm wrong? Is this a fearless system regarding pick?
We are fearless here in Cinder League, so we will not be seeing Smolder again for Husky.
Get the
for
dragon
example.
out of here. I hate that champion on a personal level. Not because Husky piloted really well, has very little to do that. It's more that I watched Chovy pick it and just do nothing and win a game against FlyQuest, and it was the most sad thing I ever watched in my life. I had to sit there in game 5 and go, we're just gonna lose.
Dude, that
And
FlyQuest team, man. Yeah.
we
Don't
could have made
remind me, dude.
semis. We could have made
We could have
semis.
made semis, dude. But even not only world semis, but at MSI again as well, man. Dude, Masu
It's
wasn't
so
in
tragic.
Bush.
Oh my god.
Either way, refocusing
Oh.
here on our own game here. Diana Yone, R1, R2 for the side of RivalsDX. Not quite the classic Diana Yasuo, but picking up his brother. Still has quite good synergy between the two.
Yeah, and it looks like the Pantheon will finally come through, getting locked down. And Misfortune. Misfortune is a champion that a lot of people don't realize and can do this tech where she rushes Bloodthirster. It's a lot more commonly seen in competitive play than it is in your solo queue. But rushing Bloodthirster and only picking up tier 1 boots gives her actually more movement speed than other AD carries with completed boots and just saves her a ton of gold and is able to hit like these really great power spikes and just take over lanes. Many champions aren't able to match that, but Pantheon Talia, it's a combo as old as time. They show up in your side lane and they just there with a gun and you're just getting drive by.
Yep.
There's not too much you can do.
The extra pressure from globals definitely helps a lot. Also has a lot of synergy as Pantheon does have the point and click CC with the shield vaults, which allows a good seismic shove from Talia and is able to maximize the amount of damage. We saw Rakan last game for Might be CB. This time around, RivalsDX when picking up Xayah for themselves.
Yeah, and I really do like the Xayah pick in the champions like Pantheon and Talia, because if you do use your ultimate, it does consume those your opponent's stun abilities. It doesn't actually give them back, and they are cast or leaped in this case of Pantheon, and you get to be immobile. You get to peel back towards your team, and you can also follow up a lot of the plays that Diana and Yon do, those knockups by roots yourself. So it will be interesting to see if Husky takes a more aggressive approach in this game 3 than we saw. A little more passive in game 2, excuse me.
We'll probably have to see that. Xayah definitely a bit more of a closer range sort of champion. Does like it when champions run into her, though. And as you mentioned with the Talia Pantheon, especially the Pantheon, going to be having quite a good time in that one. But without the Rakan available and without the full draft of Might Be CB being shown, my early concern with it is that CB just gets a little bit of range here, and then there's really not much that the Xayah can do in this game.
Yeah, I would actually really like to see CB pick up just put the Pantheon in the jungle, which I think is already going to be, don't put a mid, and or support, and just pick up this like turbo long range champion that can just hit from afar, very, very consistent, that you're comfortable with your mid laner having. We saw Typhoon in game 1 and game 2 play very strong, but he's been playing a lot of these like bruiser champs, right? He's playing or champs that really like to play close. Champions that have abilities that, if missed, are really punishing. Silas misses the chains, or we see a missed Syndra spread the weak. You can just go in and punish, and we saw that. Put him on something that doesn't really have that, because he doesn't really need to. He just needs to just be this long-range guy, like Xerath. I don't think Xerath is the perfect pick, but the concept is there in your head of just hitting damage. Hitting them. Just hit the fight, just boom, boom, boom. And if if the enemy team does go in, boom, you got Ornn, you got Talia, you got Misfortune, all these slows, all this disengage to just prevent and catch. Is this an Ornn mid?
Is this no, it'd be Talia mid. It'd be Talia mid. I don't.
Wait, sorry. There's no way.
I don't know. Dude, we might be on something over there with Ord mentally atop.
Dude, I was thinking it was like Talia jungle and Pantheon was going top, like some like. Because I was not really expecting. I was really thinking Pantheon was hard set in the jungle. Until I saw the Ornn. But yeah, I know it's gonna be Talia mid, Ornn top, and this Terra coming out for support. I do think that kind of gives his team a little bit of survivability once the engage starts, but the fastness of Rivals comp, you just can't ult that. You just can't really get the ultimate to come down in time to protect them. Counterpoint though, Cassante in the top lane, champions Giga OP. 300 armor, 3000 HP, 300 magic resist.
What's the Cassante copy pasta?
It's the Showmaker thing where he like rage quits in a game where he's like 300, he's like 3000 HP, 200 for the armor, 200 for the magic resist. It does a dash and unstoppable.
A champion 4700 HP, 329 armor, 201 magic resist champion, has unstoppable shield wall hopping abilities, has an airborne. Furthermore, the only cooldown is 1 second, mana cost is 15. Then he transforms, W cooldown is refunded, passive deals true damage, and for armor, MR, and more. You get CDR on your Q, and the casting speed gets faster, and then he has an AD ratio with his W, so eek.
Dude, that might be one of the funniest clips ever, because he just goes 15 mana Q, 15 mana on his Q, and he does it again, and again, and then a knock up, and then an unstoppable, he can dash, go through walls, the champion can do it all. And he's just like saying this all in like very, very aggressive Korean with zero, like on stream, there's like zero dubbing for it, obviously. So, or like subtitles. So like you're just sitting there like, damn, this guy's crashing out over Cassante, which is completely valid. At that time, Cassante was giga broken.
For sure.
But it's probably a little more balanced now. Doesn't mean I like playing the Cassante.
What, you mean you don't like it when the tank suddenly becomes a bruiser with a solid amount of burst? What?
No, I just really don't like seeing these clips online of people flipping the opposing laner and then dragging them through a wall, and all of a sudden I'm watching Darius fight Cassante from instead of in river, he's fighting him under his tower because he did like the insect combo on Cassante, which is like cool, you did it, you're really skilled, but also, why is this champion capable of doing that but also be a tank? Like, well, why can't he do both? Ornn just like gets to auto attack you if he's lucky. If not, he just knocks you up once. like he just kind of sits there and is like, man, I was powerful once, back in 2018 where everyone picked me. Now I just exist as a
back when Licorice was walking up to Barons, autoing them at 1 HP.
Oh my god, what a day.
I still to this day do not apologize to the members of my household for waking everybody up at 3 in the morning for that. That was wild, but
that was an insane game. That was the day that
C9 sweeping Freaka Freaks was peak League of Legends. I don't care what anyone says.
Not on my cards. Not on my cards.
Yeah.
But with this Diana Yone is it's very similar to Diana Yasuo. If anything, Yone has shown up as this more common mid laner. There has been a lot of nerfs to fleet footwork. It's really just kind of fallen away in priority, along with believe it is the life gaining rune on minion kills that exists in the precision tree as well, has made the champion not as strong mid. And these combinations have just seen a lot of nerf. There is, I believe it was 2024 Worlds or 2023 where everyone was playing Yone. He was just the really priority pick of the tournament. He had a lot of survivability into every matchup, was really safe as a blind. He's no longer that, and Talia is a really strong counter pick into that champion that can do a lot. But Razor has been playing really well with iGank, and if they're able to do what I saw in game 2, they're gonna be fed, and it doesn't really matter if you stun them once, they're just gonna nuke your team anyway, or at least nuke one player.
This is also a champion that Razors for Life really likes to play a lot. So again, Bring it back full circle from all the way in the draft of game one. But at the IBSG level, I feel like comfort typically matters a lot more than it does at any other level. And if the rumors are true that Razors for Life is absolutely cracked on Yone, Yone once he gets going is just really disgusting. If we got ourselves a fabled Razors Yone game in here, an all timer coming through, it's going to be not impossible for Might BCB to deal with, because you mentioned earlier the Cosmic Radiance from the Taric does take quite a while to come through to save his team.
Yeah, and I think the other thing is the Talia has that ability, specifically with the stones, that prevents Yon from casting not only his E, but also his Q3, which is a lot of what Yon wants to do. It's kind of his bread and butter combo, and not being able to do that is going to reduce his damage and kill threat in mid lane without Diana, which is, I don't know how much that falls into Razor's playstyle as a Yone player, but Typhoon has been playing really aggressive, and if he's gonna be aggressive like he has in the past 2 games and just punishes again and again, I just don't see this mid lane matchup going in favor of Yone, even if Razor is super confident and comfortable with it, without iGank showing up to do what he does best.
Gank. No,
Gank.
I shouldn't have. Yeah. Anyway, we are going to send it to a spectator.
I gank? Nah, who gank? You gank.
No. Okay. Anyway, we are going to send it to the spectator delay. When we come back, it will be the final game of this series. Winner takes all in week 2 of Ember Cinder League between Might BCB and RivalsDX. So don't go anywhere. We'll be back really shortly.
Can't handle it.
And once again, we are on the Rift for the final time tonight here in Ember Cinder League in Week 2 between Might Be CB and RivalsDX. Both these games have been long and drawn out. And game 1 perhaps a little bit closer towards the end there than 2, but we're ready to go. And there we go. Lizard, yeah. There we go. Love the guy. Bonus points if you knew exactly where on the map he was before the camera shifted away and showed you. I don't know what your reward is.
Okay.
In that regard,
This is
but
a prediction.
more down.
Dory
more
took
placed.
damage level 1. Dory's gonna win lane now. That happened game 1. It's gonna happen game 2. There's actually zero logic behind it. It's just it should happen.
Okay, counterpoint. Diana's picked up the 1 CS from the ward placement.
So Diana's not a laner, so the ward placement actually doesn't give her XP. So like she can't hit a level up early off it. Ooh,
that's true. Point taken. But have you considered the gold? 1 CS.
15 gold, guys. We're cooked.
It's over.
Chat, it's over.
Literally unplayable. Either way, we get underway.
Oh, the sidestep
in the bot lane. You mentioned Dory K wins the lane after taking the 1 damage, and well, that first trade definitely went the way of Dory and MBCB.
I mean, also look at mid. The D shield start coming out from Yone. He has no fleet. He is also into an an exhaust Talia, who is looking to be really aggressive, but took the tier start, which is a considerably more passive itemization choice over the D ring and tier pickup that we more commonly seen. But I think they know what they do well. They know that it's unrealistic for them to get an early kill into Yone, and they're just gonna put on some pressure and start stacking early.
Already at 60 stacks on the tier.
Ooh, Cannon, no.
So far, yeah, -1 on to Husky.
-1s in chat. -1s.
Yeah, that's yeah. I mean, we were talking the effect of Dory taking some early damage there is it's insurmountable. It is truly one that it is an index similar to that of the Waffle House. It does Dory K take damage early on? Yes, he wins. No, he doesn't. It's just how that goes. All the while in the top lane, Urameshi gonna do his best to try to keep the wave frozen in front of his tower, at least, well, maybe not frozen, but like closer to him, to give himself some extra safety from that, because currently Marsman is doing quite all right.
Oh, ganking
once again. The exhaust drops, forces a flash away from the Diana with the arrival of the Taric. So no flash for iGank.
Yeah, and looking at it right now, currently, top lane specifically is pretty even, but because of the HP difference, Ornn doesn't really have any way to walk up without potentially getting alled in, but the mana from Mossman is so low that he also can't get into kill threat. So both of them are kind of just standing at this weird point that if any of their teammates shows up, there's a chance this gets turned around. And both junglers kind of are going to be going towards those topside camps as they respawn.
Yep. Obviously, we know that they both started on the same side and have relatively similar pathing. So we'll be arriving towards the top half of the map in short order. Luckily, Might Be CB's top laner does have the teleport, so Urameshi can get a recall off. Be able to get his health back up, be able to recover from this early pressure that Tomb Eagle has put on. Sorry, not Tomb Eagle, Mossman. We've had 2 different top laners for RDX so far, so it is what it is. But yeah, no, we move on. Dazzle not quite going to.
Sauce, great job.
On to Sauce, yeah.
And Husky is struggling to walk up to this wave, and the HP differential from Dory is just able for them to zone, and I think Husky just needs to take a bad base here and hope to come and recover. If they continue to play later and they allow the MF to base at 1300 gold, they're going to come back with a BF sword advantage.
And is obviously a really big advantage, or big, or I don't know. I don't think I'd get away with saying that on cast. But I mean, the Doom, any Doom players out in there, you guys know. We know what it was going through. Either way, we take a look down. It is in fact the BF sword for the Misfortune, but we will I gank once again. Gets the flash away from Typhoon.
Sidestep.
Sealed was not quite timed out. The start of the cast happened after Typhoon had already flashed away, so a little bit slow from Razors for Life. Nonetheless, not having flash on Sleeve as well as no exhaust leaves him quite vulnerable.
Yeah, and we're currently seeing trading of summoner spells. Meanwhile, in the top lane, Ornn has the ability, most people know this, is to just build items, and into matchups like Cassante, where there just isn't a lot of like super fast burst. Oh, the flash!
Oh, the gank comes through. Husky going to flash away immediately, so is able to get out, but no flash, no barrier on the Xayah.
Yeah. And we're just gonna see both these teams.
Mid lane once again. There's something going down. First blood picked up by Razors for Life, but the tower shot coming through is able to trade it back immediately. We are going to get a replay of that, but with no jungler for RDX in BCB, pick up the first strike of the game.
Yeah, that's gonna be an important first strike. And with this replay, I want to see how this beginning fight started, and it's gonna be Typhoon, low on mana, the ultimate from Diana, just so good. Even though they get the CC stun in, which allows a turn of the kill, iGank gets a much needed kill for her mid laner to kind of even this gold advantage that's just been present and actually walk away with a little bit of a lead. I think they have an 83 gold bounty. I don't even know how that worked.
You know, the new persons, I don't even know. Urameshi gotten low. Mossman's all out. Aren't quite going to land the Q to be able to find the kill.
The brittle breath prevents the displacement, so Cassante does the thing and gets just dashes through him.
Bell's breath, it makes you unstoppable. And keeps Urameshi safe. And all right. Both top laners have access to teleport, so probably going to see just a trade back. Those two coming through, or maybe actually they just both choose to walk it out.
Yeah, I think that they're trying to save their TP, I believe, for a more important play in their minds. They're like, I'll give up a few CS to keep the TP, and without the other top laner TPing, they just don't have as much pressure. But prior to 6 minutes, I think as a top laner, it's okay to burn teleport. In order to come back to lane. A lot of times it's just they're not giving too much up.
Again.
Oh.
Invade Sin's going
level up
the E. iGank flashing now over the wall. The Forge God will be called. Second cast finds way onto iGank.
Oh.
The ult is used onto Sin. Gets him very low. Finds the kill, but Typhoon has arrived to turn things around. Urameshi gets the first kill. Mossman doing his best to kite away to Razors for Life, who has arrived now. The Fate Seal not quite hitting Typhoon, keeping him at range. Mossman now gone low. So is Typhoon, but he lives it out. Mossman not going to be killed. Urameshi not going to try to push his luck to get the final killing blow onto the Cassante. So just the 1-for-1 trade come through in the top half of the map.
Yeah, and with that, we're going to see a much important freeze picked up for Ornn. So Ornn's going to start getting a little bit of a CS lead of the way this wave's come through, and forcing the TP out from Cassante off after that fight. Really important with the spawning of these grubs, and Herald is just going to make this top lane a little more volatile. MF, 800 gold lead, picked up through mostly plates and minion advantage. 20 CS lead at 10 minutes. Very strong showing so far.
Yep, I mean, you expect this when Misfortune is locked in. Generally very strong early on with the extra damage from the Love Tap passive. Makes her very potent in the lanes, especially against the likes of Xayah, who doesn't exactly have the most pressure early on. So really well done there for Dory K.
Ooh, a pickup of a Vamp Scepter. That's really
Yep, so it
important
is.
because
Yep.
that's going to keep her healthy. And just allowing her to take a lot more aggressive trades into the Xayah. And Xayah, again, boom, that's 200 damage right there. And if that happens 1-2 times in the laning phase, you can get away. But with Dragon in 2 minutes, she herself is looking to base, but in doing so, she'll give up plates.
Yeah, waiting to try to hope that he can pick up that Essence Reaver early, but speaking of Xayah has been left alone in this bottom lane. Sin has arrived. That does mean the Void Grubs almost certainly go the way of MBCB, so the response for RDX is try to put some extra kill pressure onto Husky, going to use the move speed from the Empowered E. Feathery Storm will be used to dodge out the Dazzle Stun. And so they will not get the kill on to Husky. All the while, the Void Grubs are comfortably picked up by MBCB.
Yeah, importantly enough, though, Tarek has this ultimate
RDX.
available on this dragon. This is going to be an important second dragon fight for both these teams because whoever really gets it really controls the tempo and a sidestep.
Still not quite going to hit CB Typhoon. I mean, considering how low Typhoon got with just one Q3, I feel that it could have maybe been enough for the solo kill. It's been very close though.
Yeah, and now we're seeing a near 1,000 gold lead picked up for the MF here, and this is going to be a based BF sword. And with the dragon in 23 seconds, both the junglers are pathing their way down, resets coming through mid. This is going to be an important fight, but who has TP in the top side of the map? It is going to be Ornn. And oh,
Flash down, gets a flash out of Dory K. Gank is in fact ganking. Bullet time comes over Tom, gets a flash out of Husky. The ult from the Tarek finally closes. Now Dory gets a kill onto Sauce, but not without being traded back. Husky's the one to pick up that kill. Razor for Life also coming through the wire, the directed camera going to the top lane. ICK is able to escape with the help of Sin. That would be primarily the reason why perhaps it flipped us away from that fight. So only the one trade of kills across for ADC and support. Mossman now going all out, trying to find the solo kill onto Urameshi. Q2 not quite hitting the mark, so won't have access to that flip back over.
Yeah, and mid lane gets pushed in, some plates picked up, and now mid lane is perfectly even, regardless of those kills and assists. And MF is going to go mid lane, going to shove out while Talia catches this bot and look to put pressure onto this dragon. And Razor just can't really match the range champion, especially on the MF, who just does incredibly large amounts of melee damage every auto. And oh, it started.
Oh, Drake started up. Sin is nearby. The flash won't quite find its way in time. Crash down, gops down onto Sin. Dazzle only finding the sun onto Sauce, but allows the flip back with the seismic shove onto Sauce. Will remount, won't be enough. Flash follow up from Typhoon secures a kill.
And that's going to be a dragon for one. I think if I'm RDX, I'm okay with that. I would have liked that my support to get out afterwards, but it does happen, and in doing so, we're going to see some really strong gameplay mid, picking up some plates, growing that fat MF lead, 1.8k.
Yeah, Dory K has been very proficient on the Misfortune. As mentioned, nearly 2k gold up, as well as a significant CS advantage. Husky the target once again. Weaver's Wall going to come through, but Rel has arrived to get his ADC out. And they'll just back away, but all the while that's more CS not getting picked up by the side of Husky.
Yeah, and importantly also is EXP. There's now a level difference between the AD carries, and mid lane's about even. Jungle has a disadvantage, and that's because iGank has been really farming in this first game compared to what we saw in the previous ones, and I think that's just because he's aware that Dusk, I believe it's Duskmorn, is whatever this new spell double
Dusk
proc,
and Dawn.
Dusk and Dawn, which is very lore on theme for Diana. as the Moon character, but it's just really good for her. She's just a champion like Echo, like other on-hit AP bruisers, who really likes that additional proccing, and not many champions can actually like effectively punish.
And it obviously, as you mentioned, works really well with Diana. Being able to get a double proc of on-hit effects allows her to get to her third auto attack very quickly and do all that bonus damage. It also just gives her stats that she generally wants, with some CDR, some health, some magic damage as well. It's just generally an incredibly powerful item for the champions that can use it to its fullest potential. And so we've seen a rise in popularity, especially in solo queue, for the Diana. Before we get to that, Rift Herald is started up by
MF is late from base.
Yeah, but so is iGank, quite far away, so there's probably not going to be a smite available to them. As we see now, Rift Herald picked up by MBCB, but the Death Push comes through, stun finds way down. Now IZK will use the Cosmic Radiance, and it keeps IZK alive for a little bit. Bullet time over the top, as well as the
Zoning bullet time. That was so good.
Does enough to keep the members of MBCB alive. They get the Rift Herald, they get the bot lane tier 1, they get everything they asked for.
Yeah, they just get so much to this fight, and yes, iGank really trying, goes on to Dory here without the ultimate. He's not really too worried of a kill threat. Talia has a timer here to look for something mid, and top, again, it's a tank gameplay.
Yeah.
He got a grass proc, guys. He got a grass proc. That's 5 bonus HP.
Grass proc. Let's go.
That's 5 bonus HP. That's a permanent stat. Keep that in mind. 5 HP.
I mean, if he lives by 5 HP at some point, we'll have to keep that in mind. But all the while, Razor for Life going to flash over the unraveled Earth. Not going to get much else. iGank is showing up to try to gank this. Talia will be stunned up by said unraveled Earth, but the ult drops through. Typhoon goes low, but not quite down, and the rest of MBCB arrive before Typhoon can be killed. Kills for Sin and Dory.
Typhoon is doing a really solid job on this mage. In game 1, when they were on the Silas, I think being that bruiser, there's a lot of stylistic changes a player has to think about when they play bruisers in terms of how they play fights, and
we'll go all out though, trying to get Urameshi. Won't quite find that proc of the Intofo strikes, so will not be able to continue his fight.
Yeah, but this plate difference top lane, I believe, that's a kill's worth of gold. That's 350 gold just through CS and plates. Like that's a meaningful amount. That's a top lane win. At 15 minutes, up by 15 CS. That's a pro player stat. Like that's like a solid, like, you know what, you look at that and you're like, oh, that's good. This player didn't give any kills. They didn't really do anything crazy. They did their job. And I think compared to games 1 and 2, I'm pretty happy with the performance coming out.
Typhoon Trouble Moonfall is dropping down. Seismic shove on point from Typhoon knocks away both iGank and Sauce.
No flash.
Keeps himself alive.
He still has holding
HP.
flash.
Yep, still available to him. So Typhoon still looking quite good. Teleport is coming down now from the Ornn. Won't be canceled by Mossman. So this second Drake, or the third Drake of the game, will go the way of Mike BCB.
Yeah, and I think with that top lane TP, it kind of secures it. Ornn's ultimate is just such a strong team fighting ability that Emma can follow up on, that there isn't too much risk. Oh, it is 4 HP, guys. You do have to secure that. Don't let Tarek auto it for the win. But right now we're seeing kind of a this is almost exactly the same position that we saw in game number 1, where the only strong member of RDX is iGank. And unlike game number 1 and game number 2, he's just not as active on the map in terms of ganking. I think it might just be the champion that he's playing right now, or his lack of a lead that makes him feel confident in this game number 3. But RDX really needs someone to step up and really kind of get their team back in the groove. because right now they're just bleeding.
And BCB up 3.5 gold has opened up the map a bit more as well, taking the mid lane and bot lane tier 1s. Mid lane tier 1 especially important as it does allow you to start to move into the enemy territory a bit more. It gives you a lot more escape to the jungle, but Raise for Life's going to find Typhoon. Seismic Shot going to be buffered really well by the Fate Sealed, and indeed that is it for CB Typhoon. Shutdown goes way of Raise for Life.
I said it. We need someone to step up and really start getting some gold swing, and it's going to be the Yone with that solo bolo in the bot lane. And again, there's a lot of plates, some waves coming up. I know Baron is on the map, but this is exactly what we needed to see.
The Starfall comes through. Sin will find the stun with the help of IZK and the Dazzle, but Dory's too far away. iGank trying to zone him away, but now Husky's gone a little bit too far forward. Once again, Bolt time over the top. Not quite going to secure the kill onto Husky, but the Call of Forge Guard comes through. Sin gets the kill onto Husky, and it's followed up for a double kill by Sin off of the Call of Forge God of Urameshi.
Yeah, I was really surprised that RDX wanted to make that play so aggressively when their mid laner just got a kill bot, had TP up, had the waves pushing, and was in a really good just neutral state for their team. They were just going to be up gold the longer that Yone got to do his thing. But a play happens mid, and they just don't have a TP in time to really match it. And the gold difference is huge too with this MF that ends up just being for naught.
And the Baron was up and available with the numbers advantage, but NBCB not going to push their luck on it. Still had quite a few key members. Now Mossman going all out, but it's two tanks in the top lane. I don't. It's completely bait. Unless we continue things around for things to extend out, because IZK is arriving. We'll heal up. Dazzle comes through, finds a stun onto Mossman. Sin is here as well, stacking up his passive. Mossman now is no longer all out, stunned up, and IZK will pick up the kill. Crash down now, trying to find Dory, finds the stun. Dory's just a bit too fast for Husky to land the snare back on the recall of the feathers.
Yeah, again, those completed boots. Even without them, he just has enough movement speed to just really outpace with that W passive on Misfortune so much. We saw the activation come through, resets that movement speed buff, and she just walks out scot-free. 3k gold up, has a completed or an upgraded Infinity Edge, which just like chef kiss of an item, and looking towards an LDR.
You're looking for that extra damage, especially on the Cassante, but the Grand Starfall drops down flat to try to find the shield vault. Typhoon arriving will not quite land the seismic shove, but a turn now onto Sauce, who doesn't quite get away as fast. Securing the kill for NBCB. Stun drop down onto iGank, but the Moonfall drops down, force the flash away from Typhoon. But now the response of the Terror Cult comes through. No damage is dropped by the recall of the feathers. Cosmic Radiance doing a lot of damage denial from Husky, keeping NBCB relatively healthy.
Yeah, and that's gonna be the Terror Cult comes in perfectly, and it just keeps the team alive. It prevents further bleeding, and Yone is forced to go bot. Yes, Ornn is going to match him, and really can't push the wave out much without fear of dying. He does have Bork for Yone, but we're kind of in this weird state of the game. RDX isn't behind by a ton of gold. They're probably going to be hitting their second ADC item for this last. No, never mind. They will not be hitting. Yeah, items come through. That's huge. That's huge. That's really huge. And in this fight, because we're going to see these 2-item power spikes show if the team as a comp can contest. Can they play this? They give up some vision, but look who's all here. iGank and Yone.
Yeah, Mossman not quite finding the stun off the Path Maker. But again, it's a lot of tools available for NBCB to keep RDX at range, especially from Typhoon. Dropping things here, but the shield vault in for it onto iGank, not quite finding the burst. Fate Seal lands onto Dory K, but the damage isn't quite there to get the kill onto Misfortune, and the bullet time over the top is able to set things up for NBCB. That is a 3-for-0 trade going the way of NBCB as they look to pick up the Soul Point Drake.
Yeah, this is gonna be a huge dragon. I think realistically, with the respawn timers, I don't think they can force a Baron. It might be too greedy of a play for them. I think just taking that mid tower is a really solid look. They're scaling really well. Misfortune's gonna have an itemization complete. She's actually going bot here. And that's also completely fine, but take you don't have TP on your AD carry. They're confident. They're confident in their ability. They're gonna start the dragon up without their AD carry.
Yeah,
This could be a potential flip for RDX here if they have vision.
Gank has respawned, immediately moves to the bottom half of the map.
Whoa, is that
Looking
9?
At Dory K.
Whoa.
They're now down to 6K, but it is spotted out. Razors for Life will find it. Does have access to the Fate Sealed. Maybe find a hero play in. Smite comes down. Baron is claimed by MBCB, and there is not going to be a response from RDX.
Yeah, RDX, they are unaware of what's going on, and while they could have taken advantage and potentially tried to fight CB during that, CB they put their sorry, excuse me, they put their bot laner bot. They push in some waves. They get some much needed gold plate, and their team is strong enough together that they're able to just take the Baron. MF sitting at 3 items. No other player in the game is currently at her power level. So ahead in gold. It's 4K up. Completed Mortal Marinder, so it's going to reduce the healing for majority of the characters on RDX who have small like in-kit. It's just overall really good. The only way that they really lose is they just play poorly in fights. Or RDX just does some really good picks and just really knows how their team comp operates.
I think a lot of that could have just been summarized by plus 7K gold to the side of MBCB.
Most of that's on MF. It's not like an evenly distribution. It's literally one player.
And this one player is definitely pretty hard to pick off with that Bloodthirster, though definitely looks potentially possible from Razors for Life. He has found Dory K a few times in the past, but just hasn't quite had enough damage to fully burst down the Misfortune. So he'll look once again, potentially for Dory K. Dazzle stun, finds way onto Sauce and I gank. Sin goes forward, perhaps a little bit too far. The Forge God will be called. The Cosmic Radiance drops. Sin is alive. Razors for Life in the backline will miss the Fate Sealed onto Dory K. And any hope that RDX had to win the fight is completely dashed as the Weaver's Wall comes in to try to find Husky. May have gone a little bit too far. Good seismic shoves, gets the stuns, and ensures that Husky will go down. Typhoon on a rampage. The only one left alive is Yone of Razors for Life, but he has no ults, and all 5 members of MBCB are alive and good to go. The shield bolt comes down onto Razors for Life. He cannot live much longer as the ace is picked up by MBCB, and the nexus of game 3 will go the way of MBCB.
Yeah, they're going to be able to secure this in a very strong showing going for these last few Nexus fights, picking up some much needed kills. They're still alive.
Stat padding. Can they get the kill before the Nexus goes? They do. They got the 3rd kill. They've had their stats.
And
a bit more.
A very strong showing. Game 2 made me a little questionable of their ability to operate, especially when from a deficit. But I guess blue side buff is real. There's just they seem to be so much more comfortable on blue side as a team, especially when they're in the driver's seat. When they're behind, they definitely struggled a ton about what decisions to make. But if they were ahead, they just kind of kept the momentum constantly going. And I think that's kind of this team strives at, is just forever rolling the snowball. It's really hard though when the snowball's coming at you. I think they have some room to grow on how to deal with the snowball. In contrast, RDX is really dealing with that snowball coming at them. They've had 2 games where they were behind and they made some pretty good fights, especially in game number 1. Game 2, when they were in the driver's seat, they did a great job as well. So they have their own mid-game things to work on. But overall, first game of the season, they got a lot of room and a lot of time to just kind of work with. what their team and roster is capable of.
And it will eventually have to come through. We're hoping that as RivalsDX outside of Game 1 did have their full lineup, that it would look a bit better for them. And to be fair, it did. It did in Game 2 when they, ran away with said game. But I think this time around, it was just too much to handle, especially with the likes of the Talia and the Unraveled Earth basically completely negating anything that they wanted to do, and didn't have enough burst to get the kills before the Cosmic Radiance dropped from Red Panda as well. And plus, as you mentioned, we said it so many times, the just amount of gold that Dory K had available to them. It shows in the damage graphs. 25.7k damage for Dory K in what was a relatively short and one-sided game. It just it speaks for itself, really.
Yeah, it really does. I think the Terror pick I was a little worried about getting nuked out by Diana and Yon if they just have enough damage, but they really never were in an opportunity for that to become a problem. I think part of that was through Tarek's itemization choices and the way that he played fights, and he did a really good job of not getting baited the cast when he didn't need to, and then casting when he did. So it was kind of always up when the team was looking to need it for a fight, and with cooldowns that long, that's definitely a skill. So I was very impressed to see.
So I think with that, that'll be it for us tonight here at Ember Esports.